Weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., leaving in 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Well, Sli's in Denver because Game 2 is tonight. Will the Lakers win this one? Gosh, we hope so. Plus, Sli attended Coors Field. He was sending pictures yesterday of Rockies baseball. Hey, man. Hey, Mace. But also, the question has been, did he make his way in to the Shidano, John Ireland, Michael Thompson, Mike Trudell dinner? I have it on some authority that Sliwa did get to press the flesh, maybe. Plus, of course, we're going to get you ready for Lakers basketball tonight. Don't forget, coverage begins at 4 p.m. The Toyota Lakers countdown to tip-off with Sli. Tip-off at 5:30 p.m. We get you ready all afternoon long. Let's get to it. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday, right now.
Yeah. Busy day yesterday, Al. You got a lot of things going on yesterday. A baseball game. You've got the dinner going on. You've got pregame today. You're a very busy man all of a sudden.
Yeah, to be honest with you, the fact that I'm here right now, I had to squeeze it into my schedule. Okay, I'm lying to you there. It was I was running a tight ship yesterday. You know, when we finished the show, we were still on air doing Super Crosstalk. Guess what inning the Rockies and the Reds were in? Who, by the way, the Rockies, I did not know this, are now half a game behind the Padres.
Oh, I knew.
And if I would have known that, then I would have been cheering for the Reds yesterday. It was fifth inning when we're still doing our show.
Oh, so you got there with just a little bit left, right? Did
you
stay to the end?
Well, now I'm panicking because now I'm like, what time do they close the ticket office?
Oh, sure.
Beers are done at 7, seventh inning, right? So right when we finished, I ordered an Uber, got straight out there, went to go get my tickets. By the way, shout out to Travis and Emily for telling me don't do it on Ticketmaster.
No, of course not.
$4.
Yeah. I'm honestly, you might have gotten ripped off. That $4 seems aggressive for what are we talking about? 3 or 4 innings of baseball to go see two teams that both stink. $4, I think you got taken to the hoop, Al.
All right, so $4. I told the guy I got to the box office line. You could imagine how long the line was.
Sure, wrapped around the stadium.
So I get to the box office and I'm like, listen, never been here before. Honestly, I just want to walk around, have a beer and a hot dog, so cheapest ticket you got. It's almost as if he knew I was coming, and he's like, $4, buddy, I got you. So the big transaction goes down. Wells Fargo calls me and says, hey, did you make this purchase for $4? Yeah, I did. I did make it because it was in Denver. So
fraud
I just want
to fraud alert.
Just want to make sure that that this was you.
That's true.
Get into the stadium. So I mentioned to you, I'm still doing the show. It's the 5th inning. It's the top of the 5th.
Okay.
I got there, and by the time I start walking around, it's bottom of the 5th.
Oh,
the
wow.
The game I got there was 5-1 Reds.
Okay.
By the time the bottom of the 5th finished, it was 5-5.
Oh, okay.
So I had some time. Now it's like, all right, now I have plenty of time. I thought I was like rushing to begin with. Eventually, I think 11-7, maybe the final score, 11-6, I can't remember. So I got to see 11 runs of Colorado Rockies baseball, if anybody cares about that.
Yeah, I was going to say, I'm more interested in, you sent the picture, you had a nice little beer going on in your pick. It looked like a beautiful day out there. Was it just the one? It looked like it. It looked amazing.
Yeah.
Was it just the one and done blue moon that you had, or did you double dip? What are we talking about?
No, didn't double. I'll tell you exactly what I did. So I kind of took a lap around. I want to see, by the way, very nice ballpark.
Oh, it's great. Yeah,
beautiful ballpark.
It's a great spot.
So I took a lap around, and then we're getting in the 6th here. So I'm like, I got to hurry up and get the beer just to make sure here that I could get one. Got a bratwurst, got peanuts.
Oh, wow.
And I got my Blue Moon. And something really random happened. So there, it said 22,000 people were at the game.
Okay? Yeah, okay.
Yeah, just so you know,
Sure.
if I have to just throw out the number that they officially put out there.
Well, 22,001, I don't think they had your head count. But when you came in the 5th inning, they hadn't counted you yet.
They said 22,000, and there's probably, I don't know, 7,000, 8,000, I'm assuming, something like that.
Right.
I don't know how they get to the 22 number, but
right.
All right, we'll leave it alone. So I decide, I'm not even paying attention to where my seat is. I'm like, there's all these seats. I mean, I'll be fine. Nobody's going to tell me, hey, you got to get up and go. So I find a section, third base side, foul, beyond the foul pole line, but by the foul pole, so I'm basically in the outfield, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So I'm over in left field, let's say.
When you said foul, I'm like, well, aren't all the seats in foul territory, or at least you're in the outfield? You're catching home runs. Like, I don't know. Maybe they do it differently in Denver.
So I'm all the way out there, and now I'm just – when I sent you guys a picture, that was my seat, right? So I'm enjoying my beer. I'm enjoying the dog, and I'm enjoying peanuts, which by far are the most addicting thing you could possibly eat, and I ate every one of them.
I was going to say, you eat the whole bag?
Awful idea. I mean, just halfway through, I'm like, that's plenty of peanuts. I don't need any more peanuts. But there I was eating the peanuts.
That's when you got to either just throw them in the trash or go move to a different seat, right? Just because if they're sitting in front of you, if they're in your lap, there's not a person alive that has a bag of peanuts within arm's reach that doesn't continue to eat the peanuts.
You know how many times I said, okay, that's it. Like, I'm good. I don't need any more. And
you have beer left, too. You got to drink. What, are you going to not eat the peanuts with the beer?
Well, that's the thing. It's like a one for one, right? So you just kind of you're using that route. Trav, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. I'm not trying to be dramatic here. When I tell you in front of me there was, let's say, 20 additional rows, and there was probably 3 or 4 people. Behind me, let's say there's 10 more rows, and let's just say, again, 3 or 4 more people. To my right, to my left. This is the section that I'm in, okay?
Yep.
Can you believe an usher came up to me?
No, he didn't. No way. What, did he just want to talk, or was he actually going to try to move you out of your seat? Were you – okay, let me ask you this. You were nowhere near the ticket you bought, right? You just plopped yourself down.
I wasn't near, but I also was not in good seats.
Yeah, like, you weren't sitting behind the on-deck circle.
No, I'm in the sun. I decided I'm just going to park right here, and when I see – 380 seats around me available, I'm like, all right, well, I don't think I'm interrupting anybody here, so this is where I'm going to sit. So at that point I had finished, I was still finishing my beer, but the peanuts were done, the dog was done, so I'm just kind of sitting and relaxing, watching Rockies baseball. This usher comes in and says, excuse me, sir, are these your actual seats? And I said, no, they're not. And he goes, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
You've got to be kidding me.
I don't even know how to explain it. And I'm looking at him.
Did you look at him like with a smile on your face? Like, are you really asking me to move out of this seat?
I thought for a second, I was like, oh, he's joking.
Yeah.
Like, that's a really good personality for an usher to have. There's all these seats available.
There's nobody there.
There's all these seats available.
Don't have anything to do.
So I look at him and I'm like, are you being serious? Like, I didn't understand. And he's being serious. There is no joke to this. I'm like, listen, this is the first time I've been to the stadium.
Go Reds.
I'm literally just going to be here for a couple of innings, and then I'm out of here. And he looks at me in the eyes and says, I'll let you this time, but next time you can't do it. And I'm just like, what was this exchange that we just had? And then he turned his back and went the other way. And I'm like, what just happened here?
I'm so okay.
Power trip.
There has to be somebody that has worked at the Coliseum, at SoFi, at Dodger Stadium, the Big A. So one of the dozens of stadiums we have around Los Angeles. Somebody explain to me the rationale of what happened to Al yesterday.
So I'm not crazy?
No, of course you're not crazy.
Was this a pimply-faced 19-year-old kid, or was it?
No. Older dude. You know the worst part about it as well?
Like Travis age, like 69?
That's enough.
All right. Let's take a breather here. It's early. Let's wait till the 11 o'clock hour. Let's wait till noon.
Kurt Sandoval is the one that insults my age. Kurt Sandoval is the one that thought that I was 62 years old. You don't have to make it worse by repeating what he said.
I don't know. I'm just calling it how I see it. But anyway, how old was this guy, Al?
Okay, so he was, I don't know, probably in his late 50s or something like that. But the worst part is there were moments during I'm basically sitting in these seats for about 2 innings because then I wanted to go to the purple seats, the mile high, which was an awful idea. I couldn't breathe at all. But I just basically felt like I need to take a picture here, so I did. But the one inning before, he was telling people, and I'm assuming here he's always in this section, so he knows who are season ticket holders, whatever the case is. He's taking groups of like 4 and 6 people and saying, hey, why don't you guys move up a little bit closer, and it's shade. So he's moving people from the section I'm in to give them better seats and shade. I'm like, maybe he'll come to me, and even if he does, no, I'm good. Like, I'm just going to sit here for a couple of innings, and then I'm going to go basically go hike a mountain to get up to the mile-high seats. So, I mean, listen, the game was awesome. The game was nothing. The stadium was really nice.
Well, the game was something. I don't mean to cut you off, but the game was something. The game allowed them to get a little closer to the Padres.
They got a little closer to the Padres.
So it was, as far as the Rockies were concerned, it was a big win because now they're only a game away from not being in last place by themselves.
That part is true. I don't know what the Reds' record is.
Did you see Dinger?
Did I see what?
Dinger, the mascot for the Colorado Rockies.
Yeah, I saw him actually at the end of the game. Took a couple awful pictures. I was like 4 sections up, so I couldn't even. But I did see him, and as ridiculous as he looked in the photos when we were talking about mascots, he was as ridiculous on the field doing whatever he was doing. So there's my Coors Field experience right there.
I'm glad you went. I'm glad you got your dog. I'm glad you got your beer.
Beautiful
and your
stadium.
It's a
Awesome
great
stadium.
ballpark for sure.
Yep.
That usher needs to shake himself.
Unbelievable.
I need somebody to inform me, 877-710-ESPN, on what it is that you needed to move someone in Al's situation out of their actual seat because sincerely, truthfully, who cares?
So
what difference does it make?
Rich A has an idea. So he says, were you wearing any Lakers gear? That might have been the reason that homeboy was picking on you.
Nothing. Completely
Really?
neutral. Just went out there to go enjoy a game. Had a T-shirt on that said nothing on it. It was literally, you would have no idea whether I was...
And an Anthony Peeler jersey over the top of the T-shirt?
I didn't... My Peeler jersey, I forgot it. I forgot the Peeler jersey.
All right, speaking of
I'm gonna send you because I took a photo...
Of him?
No, of the seats in front of me, I think, how open it was.
Well, the picture you sent us, there was nothing but it. It was a sea of empty seats. There was nothing but empty seats.
Yeah, actually, that's because I had to call my cousin Slee, and I'm like, this really happened. So I had to give him that. So he's like, send me a photo of what's in front of you. There was nothing in front of me.
That is great. All right, speaking of the Lakers, they get going Game 2 tonight later on. Al, of course, has a pregame show. He's in Denver for all of this. Mike Malone, I think, tipped his hand a little bit, Slee. I think that he let us know how he's actually feeling without actually trying to do it. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, every day there are drivers on the road who decide not to buckle their seatbelts. Some of those drivers will be ticketed by law enforcement. Some of those drivers who crash won't make it home. Buckling up is the single most effective way to protect your life in the event of a crash and make it home safely to your loved ones. Don't risk it. Click it or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
All right, Lakers and Denver Nuggets. I'm live in Denver right now. T-Raj, we just spent a little time talking about my Coors Field experience. I'm going to put this up on Twitter. I'm going to show everybody just how many seats are in front of me.
Yeah.
And then they could figure out what exactly the ushers. What was kind of the strategy there? Em, I think you just mentioned Brian in Denver is an usher at Coors Field. He's calling in right now. What's going on, Brian?
Hey, so I'm not an usher, but I have friends that are ushers at Coors Field, and I go several times a year. It's a beautiful stadium. But usually they leave you alone, unless someone else brings something up or they think you're in someone else's seat. I've never been ticketed. I usually sit around the first or third baseline. But they're pretty chill. They usually check right at the top of when you enter, but after that, they pretty much leave you alone. It's kind of shocking that they would come and just, try to get
I think they like me. I mean, that nothing of what Brian just said right there sounds like people get poked at.
There's no reason. And look, I understand if you were the only person in a section that had nobody in it, like literally you are the only person there, and you're sitting there flicking peanut shells on the ground, and they're like, I don't want to have the janitor. If we can just keep this entire section clean, we don't have to send anybody in there to clean it up, whatever it be. But short of something like that, what is the usher doesn't care. It's not his seat. There's nobody else that you're preventing from seeing the game. I think I have a fairly good feel, Slee, for you were probably not being obnoxious and bothering anybody. I think you were probably minding your own business.
I had my shirt off.
Yeah.
Does that count?
There's nothing that you were doing that would have required you to be moved out of that spot. It's just it's lunacy. It's lunacy. You should have fought the guy.
Here's the thing. It was just close enough to where I didn't know, am I winning this fight or not? Yeah. So I had to just be extra cautious.
Got to pull out a Karen sometimes. You got to be like, okay, really, can I speak to your manager, please?
I understand that you technically that's not your seat, that you paid, but who gives a you-know-what? And anyway, let's talk a little bit about where the Lakers are heading into tonight's game. And the Lakers are fine. Everybody that you talk to, listen to, see on television, read in a newspaper or online is saying, no, Lakers are in a really good spot. Lakers are fine. The Lakers figured some stuff out with Jokic. Did they? We'll find out in a few hours. The question that I have, Slee, is this is a really weird sense where everybody feels really good about what happened, only now all of a sudden you kind of have to win tonight because all of those great feelings, all of that, oh no, we played really well, our defense, our rebounding will be better, they're not going to shoot like this. Okay, fine. You better be right. With it, you, Alan Sliwa, me, Travis, everybody that said, oh, Lakers actually figured some stuff out. We better have been right about that because if they lose again, whether it's by 1 or by 40, it doesn't matter. You're down 2-0. There's 5 games left. You got to find a way to win 4 of them. This is a massive game. It's the biggest game they've played in the playoffs so far, and they need to find a way to keep those good vibes going because you lose tonight, whatever you felt great about on Tuesday is gone.
So I actually feel good about tonight. I do. But what you just said right there, there's some nervousness because falling down 0-2 to the Denver Nuggets, who have a great team, have great home court advantage, there are a lot of advantages that the Denver Nuggets have. I look at it this way. Let's use the Lakers and the Warriors in Game 6. They didn't have to win Game 6. They still had another game. Mm-hmm. So you felt good about walking into Game 6, but at the same time, in the back of your head, hey, they lose this game, it all comes down to a Sunday game in San Francisco, and it could be the end of the season. I think tonight, for me, a couple things stand out. You're right. They figured something out towards the end of the game. It looked like the Denver Nuggets felt a lot of pressure in that last 4 or 5 minutes where they really kind of know what they were doing. They were just looking at the clock saying, all right, 3 minutes left. All right, 2.5 minutes left. They were just waiting for that clock to tick down. There's been a little bit of – it almost feels like the momentum has swung too much to the Lakers.
I agree.
That because they closed out the game the way they did, it's like, everything is fine. Why would it be fine? You're still in a desperate situation. You're still trying to, obviously tie the series up 1 apiece. I get that. I understand that standpoint of there was so much momentum towards the end of that game. They had a chance to win it. It would have been an absolute backbreaker for the Denver Nuggets if they lost it. But Denver still won the game. it's still 1-0 Denver, right?
Yes.
I think it's easy to forget that.
It's 1-0 Denver, and if they win today, which, by the way, the Nuggets have not lost a home playoff game this season, the Lakers, what's that thing? It's not a must-win, but it's a can't-lose. We're kind of in that territory because if you fall behind, we know what happens after that. Now you have to win Game 3. You have to win Game 4, or this thing is a wrap. And the idea of getting a split on the road, well, sure, it's really easy to feel good about that when you win Game 1. Now, all of a sudden, when you don't win Game 1, it's not get a split on the road. It's we have to win Game 2 or we're in a virtual no-win situation moving forward. And I know the cliche, the series doesn't start until somebody wins on the other guy's court. Okay, fine. That's one way to look at it. The other way is the Denver Nuggets are the number 1 seed in the West. The Denver Nuggets, and we're assuming a Nuggets win tonight, right? They're 2-0 at home. They're now 8-0 or 6-0 in the playoffs at this point. And you're telling me that you're going to beat that team 4 out of 5 times, and you're going to have to find a way to win a game in their building when they haven't lost a single game in their building all playoff long? That's true too. That I get that you have to, if somebody's got to win on the other guy's court. The Nuggets don't. The Nuggets just need to continue doing what they're doing. This is huge for the Lakers tonight. It's not – they can win the series if they lose tonight, but it goes from I think the Lakers are going to win the series to now something weird kind of happens for them to win the series.
First off, the voice of the guy that says the series doesn't start until you win – was that me? Because I feel like it was a little okay.
It was like
I feel like I've said that before, and it was a little annoying, and I'm like, that might be me.
It was like 88% UCLA fan, 12% Sliwa. I think that's what it was. Not entirely you, but there was a little bit of. I was channeling a little bit of Al in there.
Okay, I'm with you on this. I hear a lot of people saying, "Hey, if Lakers lose this game, it's a wrap. They're not winning 4 or 5 against Denver. They can't fall down 2-0." I'm actually not buying that. I think if the Nuggets do win tonight and they hold serve, I guess it's a lot of it is going to also depend on how the game goes. And,
sure.
I mean, if the Nuggets won by 20 again,
does it matter, Al? If they're down 2-0 and let's say the Nuggets hit KCP knocks down a jumper at the horn, does it matter?
This is the only reason why it matters. If it goes like Game 1 did, but there is no late comeback for the Lakers, that's a little demoralizing. And what you just described, maybe it's more demoralizing if you're in the game and then KCP hits a jumper at the end and you lose the game by 2. Maybe that's even more demoralizing because now you're down 2-0, and that's 2 straight games that you had a chance to win. But the only reason why I say that, looking at the matchup with the Nuggets, I like the way the Lakers match up against Denver. And if there's one thing that the Lakers have and they're able to do that a lot of other teams in the league can't, Lakers can adjust to everything. They got enough personnel to say we can go small against the Warriors. We can go big against the Denver Nuggets. So I don't think the challenge gets so much tougher if they obviously don't win tonight, but I don't think the series is over. However, with all that being said, I like the Lakers in this position because I haven't really seen it that much. I haven't seen the Lakers in a spot where now you got to win one.
Yeah.
I haven't seen them in a position before. We've said this in the past with Memphis and the Golden State Warriors. Those teams were always chasing the Lakers.
And they took it off the table on the opening night, right?
Yep.
This idea we got to win one in their building. Okay, fine, we're done with that. They took it off on the very first night. You win tonight, it's virtually the same thing. It's like, look, we ended. It's not where, okay, now it's got to be 5 or it's got to be 7. Games 5 and 7 are much harder than games 1 and 2. They're much more challenging to go try to rip one of those games. So tonight, you're right that the Lakers have been able to, okay, we're exactly where we want to be. Win tonight, and they're exactly where they want to be. Lose tonight, and you're in absolutely uncharted territory.
And that being said, too, the Lakers this postseason have been great following a loss. So they're a perfect 4-0 in games following a loss and winning all 4 of those games by double digits. So, again, I don't think the caliber of opponent is very different than the Memphis Grizzlies and the Warriors. But that being said, they adjust, they come out firing, and they're resilient.
So there's this, too, Al. And Michael Malone, excuse me. I know he prefers the formal version of his name. Michael Malone, the head coach of the Nuggets, was talking about what you and I spent all day yesterday talking about, which is why is everybody so fired up about the Lakers despite the fact that they're down 0-1? Here's the head coach of the Nuggets.
there's this kind of discussion being based that, like, even though the Lakers lost, they're walking out of here last night like they think they've got something. I'll bet you every red penny I have that Darvin Ham would rather be up 1-0 than down 0-1. So for us to be able to watch film after a win and show all the things that we did poorly is a great situation to be in.
Okay, you heard that, and there was also everybody's talking about how they figured something out. Like, we haven't seen them go with a guy like Hachimura on Jokic before. You don't think we've seen something like that? He's telling on himself a little bit. He's telling them, like, well, I mean, we're the ones up 1-0. They're the ones down. You don't think Darvin Ham would rather be up 1-0 than down 0-1? You don't think we've seen anything like that before? I do think there's a little bit of a tell on themselves that even he realizes that game one went a certain way, that despite the fact that Denver won, the Laker fans, basketball people at large are like, no, they're actually okay. That, yeah, they're down 0-1, but this is not the Suns. This is not the Minnesota Timberwolves. The Lakers are still very much in this series. I thought Malone really told on himself there.
Let me. What would you what would you have liked to hear him say? Because I think, by the way, he is right. A lot of the chatter is about Denver escaping game one, not Denver playing.
But they did escape.
They did escape.
Yeah.
I'm with you. And they played 3.5 great quarters, and then in the fourth quarter, it was just looking at that clock. 4 minutes left to go. Geez,
yeah.
Here. Okay, 2.5 left to go. Oh, my gosh, here. But what I'm trying to think here, based on how that game ended, what would you have liked to hear from him that would have been different?
I just think you can play it really straight. Look, we're up 1-0. We like where we are. We're going to continue to make adjustments. It's a long series. There's a long way to go. I think I really like our position. But to talk about, I'd rather be in my spot than his spot. Well, you don't think we've ever seen an adjustment? It was very odd. The more you push back on a thing, the more I'm sure that it actually bothers you or you're actually worried about it. Not one of those, hey, what do you think about Hachimura? Yeah, it was a good move. It was good. It's up to us to figure out what to do to counterbalance that. It's up to us to figure out a way to play better down the stretch. I'm glad we won. I like the position we're in, but we got to clean some stuff up. That's very different.
Let's put it this way. I don't think there's a Laker walking into tonight's game with any doubt that, okay, let's go. We saw game one. We got a chance to feel each other out. We felt like we put ourselves in a position to win game one, but we didn't get it. All right, we're ready for game two.
Yeah.
Speaking of which, banner number 18 is so close, you can taste it. Trav and I are getting you ready for game day with the assist from Pizza Hut. Caller number 18. So right now, caller number 18 wins a $100 Pizza Hut gift card. Trav, don't try to call. To get you ready for game day watch party, your game day watch party. So however you're going to watch the Lakers, you get a chance right now to get a $100 Pizza Hut gift card. Call right now, 877-710-ESPN. Download the Pizza Hut app or order online at pizzahut.com to get your favorite pizza at a price you love. No one out-pizzas the Hut.
All right, Slee, the pizza is, I'm going to call anyway.
Okay, you can't
try
do it.
and stop me.
You can't. Terms and conditions.
Try and stop me. We'll see. I'll give it to somebody.
Especially the big New Yorker, that's a great pizza.
$100 a pizza. By the way, you could have a nice little party for $100 a pizza. That's a good deal. I want to go back to something you said.
We still wouldn't get invited.
About if I had $100 worth of pizza, I'd send you guys one. I'd deliver a pizza to each of your houses if I had $100 to go around. You don't get to come to my house, but the rest of it is fine. The idea of the Lakers being fine, could it backfire on them? That's next. It's Travis Lee, 710. Hey, if you get hurt in an accident, call Sweet James. That easy, right? 1-800-9-MILLION. That's the number for the accident attorneys at Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. If you're hurt in a car accident, a motorcycle accident, a truck accident, a dog bite, whatever it may be, call Sweet James, because their success is driven by their passion to help you, their clients. It's why I felt so good about it after I had called Sweet James after my family members had been involved in accidents. Why I feel so comfortable recommending it to not just you guys, but to my closest friends and family when they've said, hey, Trav, should I call Sweet James? Absolutely. And with that comes the peace of mind of knowing you have an incredible amount of experience, nearly 20 years, over $1 billion collected in settlements, which means he knows how to deal with the insurance companies. He's not going to let them take advantage of you. So if you are hurt in an accident, do what I've done and call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION, 1-800-900-0000, and sweetjames.com.
The home of...
Well, Michael, I promised you
if the Lakers won this game and gave us Mother's Day off, that in honor of Mother's Day, I would tell a Yo Mama joke. Are you ready?
Better be a good one.
All right, you can be the judge. Yo Mama is so silly that she spent 5 hours staring at a glass of orange juice because it said concentrate on the package.
Oh, I like that. Yo Mama is so old that when she went to the Grand Canyon, it was a ditch. How about that one?
Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Me talking about at a cafeteria ordering shawarma. And I'm like, no, this is good. Yeah, this is great. This sounds extremely professional.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
Beautiful morning. Called the number, Slee, didn't get an answer, did not win the pizza. Just saying. Somebody else got it.
Caller number 19.
I was unsuccessful in getting the $100 from Pizza Hut.
Who did win was Roland Roan in Los Angeles, and he was saying this is the first time he ever listened to the show, and he's going to be a loyal listener from now on.
Well, sure. Right. You flip on your radio and you get $100 to Pizza Hut. That's a good way. That sounds like a good way to develop some audience.
This guy in a week is going to be like, I haven't won anything in a week. Why am I still listening to these guys?
Yeah, why not? Why not, right? Let's try a few of these phone calls, get Laker fans' feelings on what's going on tonight. Do we still feel great about Tuesday night? Are we a little nervous heading into Game 2 along the way? And how big of a deal is it? Let's start in Orange County, my neck of the woods. Martin in Orange County. What's up, Martin?
Hey, Slee, Trav, best show out there, man. I love you guys.
I like you too, Martin.
I have to agree with you, man. That Malone, the coach from Denver, just sounded a little bit too nervous to me. I've never heard a head coach up 1-0 talking about, oh, well, you think you figured something out? You think we haven't seen this before? No, you haven't seen this before. You haven't seen a player with a wingspan of Ryu defending him like he has. No, you haven't seen the capability of Anthony Davis coming to the double team and blocking those passing lanes. So be prepared for what you're going to see tonight. I was so nervous about this Denver series from the beginning of the playoffs. This was the team I was afraid of. After game 1, I'm not afraid no more. We can beat this team. And when Malone comes out and talks like he does, it makes me believe he knows we can beat this team. So I just want to say, Laker fans, get geared up tonight and let's go. Thank you, guys. I'm out.
Appreciate the call.
Thanks for the
call. Trev, I'm going to throw something your way, and I think this is, you know how we talk about, hey, does Joker, does Jamal Murray, does Michael Porter, do some of these guys feel a little bit of pressure because they're the number 1 seed? Mm-hmm. The franchise has never been to the NBA Finals. This is a incredibly big moment for Denver, for Colorado. Like this is big time for them. Mike Malone, and I'm not asking I'm just seeing if you knew this because I did not know this. Do you know how long he's been the coach for the Denver Nuggets? Do you know what year he started?
I want to say this is his 7th or 8th season, something like that.
2015. Okay, so this is.
Did I get it right? No, I got it right.
I think 8 or something like that, right? The reason why I bring that up,
Travis was right.
We had somebody somebody come on Denver Gazette pregame show a couple days ago, and I asked, is there pressure on? What if they don't get to the NBA Finals? You're a number one seed. It's not like he got there in 2020, right? He's been there for a little bit. Is there some pressure on Michael Malone if they don't make it to the NBA Finals that maybe he could end up like a Budenholzer or a
with
Nurse
all these coaches
or
getting
Doc
fired?
Rivers.
Doc, Nurse, Budenholzer, Monty
Williams.
Yeah, they've been taking out guys that have had a lot of success.
Think about his position too. I'm not trying to tie this into his quote. What I'm trying to tell you is, of course, there's pressure on Michael Malone. Of course, there's pressure on the Denver Nuggets. And anytime a team feels that even though they lost the game, hey, I think we figured some stuff out.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to find out tonight if Lakers figured some stuff out or not. But whether he's trying to show that there's a pressure and I guarantee you there's pressure on that entire organization, including Michael Malone.
I just thought it was so odd that he went out of his way to, we've never seen that before. Like, yeah, of course you have. Of course you've seen it before. This is the NBA. All it is adjusting to what the other guy does, right? You go, I go, you go, I go. That's what being a head coach in this league is reacting to the move that was done. If you're having success, the other guy moves first, right? And then you react to the move. That's what this is. That he had such a unusual reaction to it. Well, I'd rather be up 1-0 than 0-1. Well, of course. Why? It was just the nature of the response that was so peculiar to me.
One thing, all these things are fine of reasons to be both confident and to doubt what Michael Malone has to say, but I think the biggest X factor to me is whether or not AD can give another A-plus performance, because we got an A-plus performance in Game 1 and they lost. And we've been seeing the pattern through the postseason so far that it's not, you're only going to get so many A-plus days out of AD.
Yeah, yes, I'm with you, but I don't know if you got to get an A-plus like you got. If you get a B-plus or an A and your defense is just better, then I think that those two things counteract each other, right? That you can, like, let's to use the grade thing. You don't have to have a 5.0 GPA to win this game. You need to have something around a 3.8, and you can get a C on your offensive test as long as you get an A back on that other test, right? Their defense was terrible in the first quarter. Their defense wasn't very good in the second quarter. They started the wrong 5 guys at the game. You fix that brings your GPA up automatically. It's going to allow Anthony Davis and maybe Austin Reeves, who shot the lights out in that game as well, to be more typical. And they can still find a way to win the game. They don't have to score 126 points again to win this game. In fact, if they do score 126 points and it's close, they're probably going to lose. This game needs to be played in the 1-0-somethings, the low teens. That's where the Lakers need to be. It's not necessarily an offensive problem as much as it is a fix the defensing and rebounding problem.
Lakers have a style. They have a blueprint of how they got to the Western Conference Finals. So did the Denver Nuggets. Game 1 was the Nuggets style. The Lakers had to adjust to the Denver Nuggets. Ireland was mentioning this yesterday, and you had talked about it. You said, hey, do you have confidence the Lakers are going to hit 90% of their free throws? Are they going to hit
46% of their threes?
Their threes, right? All that stuff. Well, the Lakers don't want to be in a shootout. No. That's not the Los Angeles Lakers. So whether AD has 40 points or AD has 25, but he's got 3 blocks and 3 steals, I'm not as concerned from an offensive perspective. Get some stops. That's who you are. That's how you're in the Western Conference Finals.
Let's try another one. Hawthorne, next stop. Skyler. Skyler, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up?
Hey, guys. Love the show. I just want to tell you that I think we're going to win tonight, but I'm not concerned if we don't, because we're going to protect our home floor, and then all the pressure is going to go back on these guys, and we already know what happens when the pressure's on them. They melt. So we're going to crush them Game 5, and then we're going to come back, and it's going to be a sweet Game 6. What do you think?
Well, I like half of what you said, Sky. I like the part about where the pressure affected the Nuggets adversely. I couldn't agree with you more. They puckered so hard at the end of that game in Game 1. They were absolutely tight as a
even
tick.
Joker.
Everybody.
Even Joker.
The coach,
Turnovers.
Joker, Murray, everybody was this, are we really going to blow this game? Everyone was feeling that moment. The other part that I don't agree with what you said, Sky, is that, if the Lakers win tonight, they're fine. They're not. They're not. They're not dead, but they're in big trouble. Because, again, I get it. everybody wins at home until somebody wins on the road. It's not okay. That's fine. The Nuggets are the number 1 seed. They've been very good in the playoffs, and if the Nuggets win tonight, now what you're asking the Lakers to do is something that's extremely unlikely to happen.
No margin for error.
Beat them 4 times in 5 games. That's even as good as the Lakers have played. That's a really tough. Is it impossible? Absolutely not. Would you bet on it? Absolutely not. The Lakers need to win tonight. If the Lakers win tonight, they take complete control of this series. They feel great. All of that positive energy coming out of Game 1 is still there. If not, it's like, so much for feeling good. We're down 0-2 and we got to win 4 or 5.
Don't do the whole – you just did it again where you started saying you got to win. The series doesn't start until somebody wins on the road. But then you didn't have the voice impression. That
got a little bit, didn't I?
No, but if you're going to do it, let's do it.
We want to do it. It's like a half-hearted effort at all.
All right, who starts?
Rui's got to start, right? Look, at AD, LeBron, you've got Reeves.
Is D'Lo a guarantee?
No, I don't think he is.
I don't think he is either.
I don't think he is. That Rui is out. Rui is your 4th guy, right? So Reeves, LeBron, AD, Rui, and that 5th spot I think is. What are we looking for? You want Schroeder in there, who's got a lot more dog in him than D'Angelo Russell does, or do you put Russell in there, who's a better scorer than Schroeder is? He's a better shooter than Schroeder is. That's hard to say, by the way. Schroeder. Do you go that way? I think that defense, especially considering what we saw off the jump in Game 1, is more important than offense.
I agree with that.
I think I'm going to put Schroeder in that last spot.
So I think Vando could still potentially get the start.
Why do you think so?
Okay, a couple reasons. Number one, if you play your best 5, which I think the best 5 is with Rui, you just become really thin off the bench. So that's my only reason. I think you're going to get enough offense between LeBron, Anthony Davis, Austin Reeves, and you decide what you do with that other player, whether it's D'Lo or one of these other guys. Vanderbilt also falls directly into the mold that you're talking about. I don't need the ball. I'm just here to play defense and grab rebounds. And if the Lakers struggled in one area in the first half,
is he strong enough to lean on Jokic like that, though? I mean, he's a good defender. He's had moments, but Rui's just so damn big and strong.
I don't know if he would go on Jokic. I think they would still start AD on Jokic, where they would probably throw Vanderbilt. They might try to go big on Jamal Murray. I saw Draymond mention this in his podcast, which I think is interesting. Remember, Lakers were doing this. They were putting Vando on Steph. They were putting Vando on Ja Morant. Don't be surprised if they try to use Vando in that light. And, Trav, here's the thing. To start the game, it's not like – the only thing you don't want to start the game is that you're down 10 or 12 by the time you get to the end of the first quarter. All you got to do is kind of hang around the beginning, start boxing out, start grabbing some rebounds, and just don't fall behind. I'm with you that I would rather have defense starting the game than offense.
Hey, did you see with Smitty coming up next? It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN.
All right, now's a great time to explore your next career at FlowServe, a global manufacturer of pumps, valves, and seals. FlowServe is hosting a job fair at the Rancho Domingos location off Cashton Street on May 23rd. So that's obviously coming up, 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. FlowServe will be interviewing to hire machinists, precision assemblers, and additional manufacturing roles, and are offering a $2,500 sign-on bonus for select positions. So if this is something that is down your field, this is an industry that you have interest in, you can fast-track your way to an interview by applying on flowservecareers.com before the job fair. Learn more about FlowServe's competitive pay and benefits. Again, the website here, flowservecareers.com, flowservecareers.com today.
For over 43 years, Barbecues Galore has been the go-to
Travis and Sliwa, and it's time for the segment we do around this time, 10:40 a.m. on Tuesdays and Thursdays.
Hey, did you see that sky today?
Did you guys see that?
Basically, the days we don't do Ask Slee, we do this thing. It's called Hey, Did You See?
Did you see that? I saw it. I did it.
Did you see the memo about this?
I mean, I'm excited. You can tell by my read. Hey, did you see?
Did you happen to see?
It's time for Hey, Did You See?
Hey, man, did you touch my drum set?
Have you read this? Right now on Travis and Sliwa.
Slee, I don't, just because you went to the baseball game yesterday and you got a great story doesn't mean that I'm not going to ask about the dinner that took place last night. I just want to make sure that you're prepared to tell me that story as well.
You know, you have kind of fine-tuned an angle of my life where you're looking for more details.
Yes.
So I feel like I've got good details
Excellent.
of what the dinner was like, the food that we ate, some of the conversation. So whenever you're ready.
Excellent. You should take notes. You should and email them to me at the end of the night. And we'll create some stories.
I'm taking voice notes at dinner.
Taylor, what do you got for us?
Okay, guys, did you see that a list of the most common sports cars in the U.S. had Ford Mustangs and Dodge Challengers at the top of the list? So it seems like a Mustang is always cutting me off in traffic. And I want to know, Trav, what's one vehicle that you associate with a-hole drivers?
You know what's funny is that the Dodge Challenger is the answer I was going to give before you even said it. That I think it's the noise that comes along with the Challenger, right? It's got like that old school rumble that when somebody hits the gas, it makes that muscle car, that brrrr sound that comes out of it. And they always seem to sneak up on me. I never see them coming. They go by me at 100 miles an hour. Like you know, Slee, I drive like an old lady, so I'm always getting passed with aggressive people. The Challenger is the answer for me, where they're just so darn loud.
What about you, Slee?
Definitely the Prius. Those a-holes. No, I'm kidding. All right,
it's up there. I don't know.
At least I haven't had issues with that. When I'm driving, and Trav, I'm with you. I'm going 70 in a 65. I'm just enjoying my drive. I got my hands on the 10 and the 2. And when I look in my rearview mirror, and all of a sudden I see a car just come. By the way, what drives me crazy about this is because it's so freaking unsafe. I don't care if you don't care about your life, but what about everybody else? Yeah. What about everybody else that's on the road? I feel like there's a lot of BMWs that I see that have this going fast and then find a way at the last second to get into the next lane. I've told you this before. I'm a honker. If you do that to me, I honk. I might even flash you a couple times. I might even give you the high beams a couple times. I have not.
I'm glad you specified on how to flash. I'm like, you do what? Yeah, like that seems aggressive.
Now I've yet to be in a situation where somebody then says you want to play that game. So maybe that will change if somebody does do that. But I feel like a BMW is what I see most of the time, and then any car with a spoiler.
I love that you're a honker, Slee. I don't know.
I don't know what else to do. There's nothing else I could do.
Say what you will about LA traffic, but there's not a lot of honkers, really.
No.
It's not something that people do.
I'm not even trying to be funny. Honking escalates.
It's dangerously.
And
living on the edge.
It goes from, hey, you cut me off, to I'm honking because I don't like being cut off, to I'm going to throw you the bird, to shots fired.
Okay.
It escalates quickly.
My girl always says, like, really? Are you really honking? And I'm like, it's the only thing I can do.
Are you just laying on it, or are you doing like a couple little pumps?
No, I lay on it for a second.
I think honking is acceptable if you can tell that person the light turned green and they are not paying attention, because that's just like a hey, look
that's
up, bud.
A little beep,
yeah,
yeah, exactly.
The green,
some people are a-holes about that.
The light's green, beep beep, and then there's the cut me off. There's a difference between those two things.
I was looking at my phone.
Right.
All right, guys. Did you see that this year we'll be celebrating the 200th anniversary of the invention of the lighter?
Oh.
So, this may seem like a pretty unimportant invention in the grand scheme of things, but Slee, what invention do you think had the biggest impact on humanity? And that's not the lighter.
Okay, so this is what people say, right? The wheel, fire, the internet, right? Like just the way now we're able for. I'm just going to use internet because this is how we live our lives.
It's pretty cool.
Just the mere fact that we could do everything that we can, the way we do it, it has completely changed the game. Now, I will say, as I've gone into the rabbit hole in the last couple weeks on AI, they are saying that AI will be bigger than any of those stuff, and that gets me a little nervous. So keep that one in mind. Keep that in your back pocket.
So the wheel was the first thing that popped into my mind, but you bring up a good point, Slee, that the wheel is generally good, right? Like no one has used the wheel to like set us back centuries or to make us be more fractured than ever. The internet is awesome for all of the stuff that we all like it for. The convenience of it, everything that we say, I wouldn't know how to do it if I didn't do it with my phone or the internet. It's also a pretty dark place to walk into if you don't know where you're going. So yeah, I'm gonna double up on the internet because it's a force for incredibly good and maybe just as bad.
So I think there's two things that pop out to me, and they're both generally good.
Doubles.
One is penicillin, and addendum modern like treatment for things.
Yep.
So I think that's one big thing. And the other thing is
Taylor Swift.
No, flight. So the idea that you could get across the United States in 6 hours as opposed to taking the Oregon Trail and dying of dysentery in Idaho.
Having a rattlesnake bite you on your way.
Exactly.
I don't think I would have been a good pioneer, Al. I feel like that would have
not
been
in
a
your Constitution.
bad lane for me. Trav the Pioneer would have been a real short run. I would have started off in Boston and gotten to like Hartford, and that would have been the end of it. I'm done.
You're part of the Donner Party.
I would have never gotten far enough west to be a part of the Donner Party. I would have died in Ohio.
Even with the technology and the planes and everything else, you still stay in just Laguna and LA Live.
It's
so
nice.
It's not like
I like those places.
Like this technology has taken you to a different level.
I like both of those places.
I think my favorite invention is the deep fat fryer. And that's going to lead me to my last question here. Did you see that a survey of the best fast food onion rings had Sonic's onion rings at the top of the list? So if
Emily's nodding, by the way. You support this?
They're very good. But I'd argue that Cookout, which is that one train, it's literally just from like Virginia to Georgia. And I think I've told you guys about this before, but they had a $5 tray. You get 3 entrees and a shake for $5, and I always get onion rings. So I think that they have good ones, but yeah, go on.
I think they were like 4th or 5th on the list. Actually, Cookout was up there. But my question is, if you had to create a dream team of menu items from different fast food restaurants, what items would you put on your list?
Taco John's.
Let's go with Trav on this one.
So the burger is a no-brainer for me. It's a double-double.
Dairy Queen?
Right. I don't know if I've ever had the pleasure of Dairy Queen food. I've had Dairy Queen ice cream frequently, and it's quite good. Yeah. But I'm going to go double-double for the burger. I'm going to do a McDonald's French fry. I know that that's kind of a mainstream answer. And then the other thing, like just drink / treat / whatever, you're not going to find a better milkshake than the ones they make at the Habit here in LA. Like it's a chain. I don't know if it goes beyond Southern California.
Never had their milkshakes.
They're unbelievable. They're as good as you can make them at home or go to like an ice cream place. The Habit has unbelievable milkshakes. So that's my menu.
I'm going. I'm not going to pick In-N-Out because you already picked In-N-Out, so I'm just going to get off that train. Doesn't leave me with much after that, but. As a kid, we used to always get the Whopper, and it was like the biggest treat ever, like a Whopper. But it was like when it went from $1.99 down to 99 cents. We're like, we're in. I'll go Whopper with my burger. For my fries, nobody really talks about them, which is fine. But Rally's
you've mentioned that before.
Amazing fries. I'll go there, and then as far as the only other thing that I'm going to get, just to kind of add to my item, I grew up eating the 2 freaking tacos from Jack in the Box, so give me the 2 tacos from Jack in the Box.
So I will probably copy Travis with the burger. I think In-N-Out has a superior burger, fast food-wise, to anywhere I've had. So that's one. Fries, though, I'm going to go Shake Shack fries. I think Shake Shack's fries are immaculate. They are always perfectly crispy on the outside, fluffy on the inside. Only thing is they are a little expensive, but sometimes I'll splurge. And then obviously drink. We know where we're going here. We're going the strawberry Sprite from
strawberry Sprite.
Del Taco. Little pureed strawberries with the Sprite. It hits the spot every time.
Did you find a stand at Coors Field that had the strawberry
I kept going
Sprites?
around. Yeah, I kept asking, and everybody said, "Is this your seat?"
Emily, you should like take it in. You know, you're not allowed to bring like food and drink from outside. You should find a way to sneak it in your purse, like a Bota bag or something.
Yeah, I'll get one of those things. What's it called? Where you put Camelback, where they have the whole bag on the back, and I'll just sip through it throughout the game.
Just my wire.
I want to see you on like you're doing one of those 5Ks, 10Ks, and that's your drink. That's your drink the whole way.
at the little halfway house where the little Cajun cups of water. Emily's got
She's
a
like,
little
"I'm
card
good."
table set up that's just for her strawberry spray. This is all good ideas. We're full of them today. For the first time in a while, the Dodgers got some very, very bad news yesterday, and it's not short-term bad news. It could potentially be season-altering news. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN. Hey, it is Memorial Day just around the corner, and you got to look at that sticker in your car. Is your car ready for service? If it is, head into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. Before you get on the road to go to the beach, the mountains, go see your friends, make sure that your car is running at its absolute best, because for over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. And the best part is you don't even have to get out of your car. At Valvoline, you stay nice and safe, sit in that front seat, stare at your phone, take a quick little nap, whatever you want to do, while the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its best. Oil rotations, transmission care, tire changes, and more right there at Valvoline. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in 15 minutes. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change.
.710 ESPN.
A good karma brands radio station.
It is the show that begins 9 hours of LA sports talk all day long. Each weekday, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. This is Travis and Sliwa on 710 ESPN.
Travis and Sliwa yesterday, followed by, you got what, like 4 innings of Rockies-Reds baseball.
Yeah.
And then after that, you had a fancy dinner hosted by Michael Thompson, John Ireland, Sedano, Trudell. What was the highlight of the afternoon?
Evening? So first off, really, really good group here. Okay, so it's Michael, it's Sedano, it's Trudell, Dave McMenamin as well.
Nice.
John, and I think that's everybody. Yeah, that's everybody. So we go to the hotel. You know how Michael is. Michael doesn't leave the hotel. So that's his thing.
Man after my own heart.
Michael is hosting the thing. We go. There's a bar before we're going to get to the actual restaurant. Sedano's already there. We're watching the Heat and the Celtics play, right? And then Trudell comes, John comes, and then eventually we all go to the restaurant. Go to the restaurant. We walk all the way through the restaurant. There's this like back room. It's a huge table, and it's got glass, and the only thing on the other side of the glass is the entire kitchen.
Oh,
so
wow.
Everybody is running around cooking. I'm obviously looking and saying, no, guys, you got to do this properly. I'm trying to help them, but we're sitting there. Only person in this entire room, it's Michael. And Michael, it was actually very baller, like to see Michael just in the room behind him, a couple bottles of wine just waiting there. Our server, Austin, talking to Austin as if they've known each other for 24 years.
They probably
very, very baller from Michael Thompson. So we all sit down at the table, and Michael's the best, man. He just there's I'm kind of sitting at the center of the table. So to my right is John. To my left is McMenamin. Across from me is BT, Brad Turner. Sedano, Trudell, and then Michael is, you could say, at the head of the table, but not really. He's just at the end of one of the table. We got Trudell brings his iPad so we could watch the Celtics and the Miami Heat.
You must have been in heaven. This sounds like something
It's
that's
amazing.
a fever dream of yours.
No, listen.
You're
this was-
surrounded by NBA people like you.
Yep,
You've got
yep.
a basketball game at the table on an iPad. You must have been in pig and slop. This
If
is
only
terrific.
Woj was there.
Damn, that is the only thing that was
Now
missing.
you ruined it, Emily.
Bomb.
How
I
dare
forgot
you?
about that. I was in heaven. And here's the best part: where I was sitting, I was like the center of two separate conversations.
Oh, that's hard, by the way.
No, this was good because McMenamin, George, and Trudell, very in-depth NBA conversations, making their own trades and where coaches are going to go. And then to my right was Michael and John talking about very random stuff, and BT telling some of the best NBA stories that I've ever heard, which are hilarious, and I can't repeat, but are just freaking hilarious. I was kind of in the middle. Sometimes I'd join into Dave and Sedano and Trudell's conversation. Other times I'd be like, all right, this conversation's over. I'm going over to my right here. I was like in the perfect seat to do a little bit of that.
I never can keep track of either conversation when I'm in that spot.
But
right?
that's
like,
perfect
I don't,
for me.
Yeah, I got to lean in. I have in-laws, right? So in-laws of in-laws that they flank no matter where we are at dinner, at home, and one sits on my right, one sits on my left. They both start talking at the same time about two totally different things, and neither one waits for the other one to stop talking. It is an impossible way to track a conversation. You're much better at it than I am, Slee.
Well, no,
I could never do it.
But here's why: because you have attention to detail and you have a much bigger heart. Me, I have a short attention span.
Yes, no,
so
but go ahead.
The short attention span allowed me to weave in, and it's almost like I was changing the channel on TV, right? Like it's almost like I could go back from one channel to the other. I can watch the sports game, and then I could leave and watch a movie. And I was just going back and forth from my left to my right. Can I tell you one of the
Well, you haven't gotten to the part that I care the most about.
The food. So, Michael, it's so funny what he would get excited about. And Michael was excited. Like, you could tell he was happy to host everybody. You could tell Michael was excited to treat everybody, which is very, very appreciative.
That's awesome.
But Michael would say, he'd be like, you got to have the crab soup. Everybody's got to have the soup. Crab soup for everybody. Okay?
For the table.
Listen. It literally was that for the table. And then you'd see some people like, I don't want a crab soup, right? But Michael's like, everyone's having a crab soup, which, by the way, might have been the best crab soup that I've ever had. So
in a landlocked state?
What's that?
I said in a landlocked state like Colorado?
I don't know what was going on there.
Rocky Mountain
but
crabs, Em.
It was delicious. So do you want a little bit of the spread? I'm going to give you some of the spread.
Hit me quick.
Okay. It was actually Maryland crab soup. If I could have some detail
there. Was it
there.
a bisque?
It was a bisque. Yeah, it was a bisque. Mm-hmm. Wedge salad. So
sure.
just all that.
No one's ever hated that. Go ahead.
Yep. Some charred Spanish octopus.
Oh, keep going. Yes.
Well, here's the funny thing. Not everybody liked it. Like, Michael wanted nothing to do
Emily
with
wants
the octopus.
local Denver octopus. She doesn't want it to be flown in from another place.
If it's not from Denver, I don't want it.
Look, what's a farm to table right there in Denver.
Well, so some people liked it, some people didn't. For the most part, I'm like, all right, more octopus for me. And then the main dish got a beautiful ribeye.
Prepared.
I got it prepared medium. Prepared medium.
Did we get a béarnaise on the side or anything? Was it just any sort of upgrades?
Sides, we got some of the Brussels sprouts. There was
hold on. We'll get to that in a second.
Well, I was going to say, so I got Brussels sprouts. I got the whipped potatoes. I'm okay with. I didn't want any sauce or anything like that. I just kind of wanted to have my steak as is. So I had my steak.
That sounds pretty good. Was there
which
any
the
dessert?
other side they're using sauce and they're using.
Well, you can get a béarnaise, a bordelaise, a hollandaise. There's all the mother sauces that you can really kind of shoot off of.
Michael was using a lot of the just the hot sauce. He's a hot
sure.
sauce guy, so using hot sauce. And then the same thing happened for the dessert as it did with the soup. Michael said the pudding is unbelievable. Pudding for everybody. And then everybody got a chance to look at the dessert menu, and there was only two puddings. There were only 2 puddings that were ordered.
That sounds fun, Al.
No, it was awesome.
Those stories that you can't tell, I'm going to need those for you when you get back to LA. I'm gonna hold you to that.
The company was great, Michael was great, and wine was flowing, so we had an awesome night.
All right, that sounds awesome. What is not awesome is Dustin May left the game yesterday while we were on the air. He pitched 1 inning. The Dodgers announced that he had elbow soreness. He's going to be on the IL for at least a month. We'll come back to that in a second. This is much worse news than it looks like at a glance. Dodgers ended up winning the game. Outman hits a grand slam, and he's still having a really nice start to his career. This is more than just a guy who was pitching well for you this year, got hurt, and he's going to miss some time. He was kind of the fulcrum of this entire rotation. That Julio and Kershaw have been lights out so far this season more often than not, right? Julio is about as close to money in the bank as you're going to find in baseball. He takes the ball every fifth day, pitches really well. You just kind of say, okay, you're going to get what you get from Julio. Kershaw's been great, but we also know that Kershaw, he's not making 35 starts a year. It's just not who he is anymore. So he's going to miss some time at some point. That's just how it is. Gonsolin coming back from an injury at the end of last season and coming back from an injury at the beginning of this season. That fifth spot, Syndergaard, has been kind of all over the place, mediocre at best, probably a little bit less than that. May's been the guy that's kind of been allowed you to push the back half of your rotation further out there. He pitches deep into games. He pitches really well. It's almost 2 years to the day since he got hurt the first time with the Tommy John injury and had to get it repaired. They're saying a month. It'll probably be longer. When he comes back, you got to restart all over again. It's almost like starting spring training again. You start to stretch him out. That puts you somewhere in late July, early August. You're going to be holding your breath every single time he goes out there because it's an elbow injury with a guy that just has this unbelievable arm action along the way. Now, if Kershaw goes down, if anything happens to Julio, you got Tony Gonsolin who throws that split finger, so you're always kind of worried about that pitch because that's kind of an elbow shredder along the way. And then you've got a bunch of kids at the back end and a guy in Noah Syndergaard who you never really know what you're going to get. Losing that guy in the middle is more than just losing one of your arms. It kind of changes your entire rotation. It was incredibly bad news for the Dodgers yesterday.
Wasn't it coming into the season, a lot of the conversation was the Dodgers don't really have margin for error here.
Not
right?
in that spot.
And then, and even Lux goes down. And
yeah.
You're like, no. There's already no margin for error. You can't lose Gavin Lux. And they've figured out ways to not just stay in the mix, but really, really thrive. I mean, they're 12 games over 500. They've built up somewhat of a cushion in the NL West, but you're talking about big picture here. And big picture for the Dodgers, this is devastating news. And
it's awful.
I hate the 1 month kind of putting that out as a timetable. It just, I don't know. I don't know how to put this, but creates maybe expectations where, oh, well, he's got to be back in a month, right?
Mm-hmm.
No, he's got to be right. And listen, I know the Dodgers aren't going to put him back out there unless he is healthy and unless he can go and everything else. But it just it's another obstacle for the Dodgers that has started since before the season started, and they have found ways to navigate and thrive, not survive, but thrive. But this is one of your pitchers that you. I'm sure every Dodger fan, when he gets the ball and you know he's going out on the mound, okay, hey, we got a legitimate chance of winning this game.
Well, you can only ask your organization, right, and I'm making finger quotes when I say it, to pick up the slack so many times. Right, Dylan Covey yesterday is a journeyman guy, spent a lot more time in the minor leagues than the major leagues, hadn't pitched in the big leagues in a couple of years, and they throw him out there yesterday and kind of not expected to pitch nearly as much as he did yesterday. He pitches 5 innings, and he pitches great. And he just instantly, this is a guy that was available to almost anybody that wanted him, and it worked out. And we've seen them do it over and over again. You've got Bobby Miller in the minor leagues. You've got Gavin Stone in the minor leagues. You've got Pepio, who's currently hurt. You got Michael Grove, who's currently hurt. You've got all these guys down there that you just keep pulling them up. Gonsolin was one of those guys a couple of years ago, and they keep hitting. It doesn't work. I'm just so nervous that eventually their ability to always have an answer to a problem that would really damage most teams runs out. And like you said, Sleet, they've had so many other things happen to them, and they're in first place. They got the best record in the National League. They're doing all of these things, but this feels incredibly significant. Kershaw is going to miss time. He just is, and he should, right? That Julio is the only guy that I feel comfortable saying, yeah, Julio's going to make a bunch of starts this year and pitch well in the vast majority of them. Everyone else has a giant question mark on him, and the guy that you've had your fingers crossed with would be kind of the second guy that could take the ball a bunch of times, 30 times or so. He's going to miss a whole bunch of time. You can only take so many body blows before it starts to rear its head. They won. They're going to St. Louis. They're going to Atlanta. They're going to Tampa. We'll see how they do, and they've been able to do everything else this month, so who knows, but it felt like a really, really tough day yesterday.
So I'll say this about the Dodgers that, I think if there's good news, we're in May. So at least you got some time, even if he misses 2 months. You got some time to get him back. And I think the Dodgers have also shown this is part of their character, and I think this is part of the reason why they have the best record in the NL. Challenge after challenge, uphill climb after uphill climb. There's nothing that I feel like gets in front of the Dodgers, and it seems like it's too much for them. That doesn't mean that okay, hey, it can't catch up to them. But if this happened to another organization, there's a lot of excuses that come up. They start crumbling. For the Dodgers, they just continue to feel like to grow as far as their character goes, as far as their fight goes. So at least this is May, and this is not happening in late August.
Their culture is everything in this situation.
Yeah.
So earlier in the segment, you were talking about your essential dream dinner. I think if we asked you what your dream dinner was before last night, it probably would have been that. But Chris Holmes weighs in and says, on this Denver trip, covering a great playoff series.
If Vlade's not there, we're not even talking about it.
Well, then he'd be sitting in the smoking section.
Catching a baseball game, dinner with the guys, and when you stop to look in the mirror when you get back to your Airbnb, do you say, wow, this is the life? Or, God, I got to get back to Travis. I miss him.
I think I know the answer to that.
The answer is, bro, get some sleep. You got to hurry up. There's a busy day tomorrow. Call your girl and go to bed. That's what I did when I looked in the mirror.
Those days that are so great, like the one you had yesterday, you really got to lean into them, right? Because they don't come around very often, where you got a little bit of work, you got a lot of fun, you talk with interesting people, you get a great meal, and at the end of the day, you're like, you know what? If I get 10 more of those in my life, that's a pretty good life. They don't come around all that often. Good job.
Bill comes around and Michael's like, "Give me the bill."
That's what I'm saying.
And we're like, "Hey, can we help?" He's like, "No, you guys are fine."
Everything that we talked about, you didn't. You had a $4 ticket. You went to dinner at a really nice place, and
Almost
a really
got kicked
nice,
out of my
generous
seats.
guy took care of it for you. Slee had the winning day yesterday.
Good night.
Here's the good news for the Dodgers. They've been in a similar position before, and they aced the test. Can they do it again? That's next. Trav and Slee, 7.
All right, driving without a seatbelt could cost you everything, but despite that, there are still drivers on the road who just don't buckle up. Some of those drivers will be pulled over and given expensive tickets by law enforcement. Some of those drivers not wearing their seatbelts will be involved in crashes. Some will survive, but some won't. Wearing your seatbelt could be the difference between making it home to your loved ones and not making it at all. Every day when you get in the vehicle and decide whether to buckle up, remember that it's the single most effective way to protect your life in the event of a crash. Such important messaging here. Please, please pay attention. Make it home safely to the people that you care about. Don't risk it, click it, or ticket. Paid for by NHTSA.
The biggest show on the radio.
Mason.
thanks to Michelob Ultra. Don't forget, coming up in minutes, another edition of Producer Emily with Factor Cap. That's around 11:30 this hour. And don't miss our, you know what we do on Thursdays, it's a snake draft. That's at 12 o'clock today. Best SNL characters because of Tina Fey's birthday. That's all ahead right here. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday on 710.
Emily, I can only assume that you're picking first again because you always do.
Hey.
She's first and third.
I'm trying to be open. I'm not going to be so secretive. I'm inviting you into the lottery ball of it all. And so, yeah, Greg picked again. In the order, I am second.
I don't trust Greg.
She's only second this time.
You know who's first
when
and who's
has she
last?
Been last?
Okay, last is good. Last is actually a good position.
Not in a three-way. But anyway, go ahead.
But Travis, you're first. Alan is fourth. But this is a very deep draft, so I feel like we're not going to be as conflicting as we might think.
Got some age discrepancy in this one too. I think we're all going to go for our eras.
But I'm a deep SNL historian.
SNL,
like
okay.
I will pick older stuff.
Are you on Ireland's level?
I've watched every episode of SNL ever, and I have read this 1,000-page book or 700-page book or whatever about the history of SNL. So I know it a bit, but
damn,
yeah, I have deep knowledge.
So you guys are going to the Laker game on Saturday. So
Yeah.
obviously you're going to have some company. Both Taylor
Okay.
and Emily are going to be in the house on Saturday. I'm assuming it's at night, right? Saturday night. You guys are going to be in the building?
Yeah, it'll be fun. It'll be a little Travis and Sliwa representation. Nice. I have only been to one NBA game since I've been here. I went to one preseason game, then I went to one regular season game last year. So I'm super excited to go see a Western Conference Final game. It's crazy.
What about you, Taylor?
I know you guys were going. That's awesome.
Not having the Kings in the building.
I'm still in denial about that, by the way. But I love NBA basketball. I love to watch it live, especially, and I'm excited for the game.
Do you root for the Lakers?
I
quietly
root for a good
Nuggets?
game.
That's
Trav.
a no.
I just want to see a good game.
That's a no. He could get himself kicked out of the. Are you going on a ticket, a credential? How's it working?
Yeah, media credential.
Okay,
Yeah.
So you got to behave yourself.
Hang out in the suite with Emily and
Yeah.
see some good basketball.
So you going to show him the ropes?
I don't know, because I have a feeling, Jokic is going to have 18 in the first quarter, and there I just see Taylor with his shirt off, swinging his shirt around. I'm like, Taylor,
dancing on
what
the
are we
Laker
doing
grave.
here, man?
Well, look, that game could be.
It's like, I love Michael Malone. You've never mentioned him before.
Hey, he used to coach the Kings.
Yeah, see,
That's right. That's right.
He was
There's a
DeMarcus
tie.
Cousins' buddy, right? They got along. He was the first guy.
Yeah, the only coach that DeMarcus ever liked.
Exactly right. If the Lakers come home tomorrow or tonight with a 1-1 split, that place is going to be rocking.
Oh, yeah.
If they lose tonight and they come down in a 0-2 hole, it's going to be rocking, but also with a real heavy dose of uh-oh in the air that this goes from we're throwing a party to we're throwing a party, but we need to make sure that this thing goes a certain way or this could be the last party we throw for a long time.
Yeah, nervousness, absolutely. Right? I mean, actually, I like that setup because 1-1, you're feeling good. Can I go back to something yesterday, too? Miami beat Boston.
Yeah.
Miami could make it to the NBA Finals. And listen, maybe it makes me think, go look at that Miami Heat roster. They've been awesome. They've been overachieving. They play great defense. They do this, they do that. But remarkably beatable. So just to play off of what you just said right there, you also, if you come in and the series is tied 1 apiece by the time you come in on Saturday, you know the next 2 games are going to be at Crypto.
Yeah.
You know that there's a dogfight in the Eastern Conference. At least it looks like that's what it's going to. That's what it's going to be. Trav, you kind of start. This has happened a few different times in the playoffs where you taste it a little bit more. Like, wow, wait, this actually can happen.
Mm-hmm.
I know they got a long way to go. But just seeing that Miami beat the Celtics yesterday, I'm like, man, maybe it's not Boston in the NBA Finals.
Well, it changed, right? It went from most of the season, it was, okay, when you look at the East, Milwaukee's the best team over there. The Celtics are really, really good. And, oh, by the way, Philly seems to have figured some things out. Those are 3 heavyweights on one side of the draw. Well, fast forward to the Eastern Conference Finals. Now Miami has a 1-0 lead. That's not – I understand. Look, they're hot and they're playing really well, and Jimmy Butler is just amazing in what he's able to do. But the Heat aren't super scary the way that some of those other teams were. The West was – I don't know. It seems like everybody's just kind of okay. That is it Dallas? Is it Phoenix? Is it Memphis? Is it the Nuggets? Is it, hey, the Lakers are playing well all of a sudden. Hey, though, don't sleep on the Warriors. There was never the team to beat, and now here you are in the middle of May, Western Conference Finals Game 2 tonight, and it feels like whoever wins the West is probably the team to beat. It really changed just through the first 2 rounds of the playoffs. From Milwaukee gets clipped right away, Philly loses in the second round, and the Lakers look like they're playing the best, and the number 1 seed in the West is still alive.
Lakers take care of business tonight. Got to come back 1-1. Yeah, the more you mentioned this earlier in the show, the more you think
huge.
about it.
It's
huge. And it's not even just the series is tied 1 apiece. I could see Denver, they start getting in their own head. They start losing some confidence. They start doubting themselves. But if you're up 2-0, they're telling themselves, guys, we're the team to beat in the Western Conference. It's not LeBron and Anthony Davis.
Well, 2-0 with 2 wins at home, and the magic or whatever you want to call it, the little thing, the adjustment that the Nuggets found, or excuse me, the Lakers found. Yeah, so much for that. You lost again. Right? And the pucker factor gets less the further you go into it. That was the first time the Nuggets had been in a situation where, hey, you're really supposed to win. You had a big lead. If this thing craters, you blew it. And you blew it because you panicked at the worst possible time. If they had blown it, obviously that just kind of snowballs on itself. They didn't. They were able to kind of pull out of that nosedive. If they come in tonight and win a game, now whatever positive feelings the Lakers had are way out the window. Way, way, way out the window. I know they're coming home, but my goodness, it is a huge game. Even though it's just game 2, if game 1 meant that much more for the Nuggets, the game tonight means that much more for the Lakers.
I'm looking here while you're, kind of going through and everything you're saying. I'm just trying to look here. Rockies, they do not play tonight. Okay. Just see maybe I catch a couple innings.
I thought you were looking to see if they would catch the Padres today, to see if they're playing, because they're only a game behind.
Didn't that usher tell you never to come back again?
He did.
Didn't you get the lesson?
Okay, listen. I put out, by the way, and Trev, basically you guys kind of saw it because I had the picture when I sent to you guys with a blue moon. But I put up that picture of the at Rocky or at Coors Field.
Uh-huh.
They're literally, I don't think I was paying attention to it when I actually took the photo. There might be 6 people in front of me, and there might be 25 rows in front of me.
It's like they were playing for you. Like they were putting on a private game. Like you invited them. Like when a band gets bad and they'll start doing private parties. Like they had it going on 30 years ago, but now they don't quite have the appeal. So
State Fair.
You could come get them to play the State Fair or your birthday party, right? That's what they did yesterday. The Rockies and Reds said, let's just put on a little show for Slee. We hear Slee's in town. Let's give him a ball game.
You said something about Rockies and the NL West standings.
Yeah, game behind the Pods.
We got an issue, buddy. There's a real problem down in San Diego.
You're pulling into town, yeah.
No. They got a real problem. There's zero chemistry. Nothing. Like it's impossible to have that lineup and be as bad as they are. They're worst in Major League Baseball batting average. They're worst with runners in scoring position. Shout out Trent Grisham that every time he came up yesterday, swung and missed with bases loaded. Really just solid work from him. But Trav, I'm not kidding when I tell you this. I know it's early. I know we kind of still had the conversation. Everything's fine. It's good. They're going to turn around this, that. I think they have some really, really big issues. I don't know what the answer is, but they have zero chemistry together. There is zero fight in that team. And this is why when I say we're talking about the Dodgers and you're talking about the Dustin May situation,
yep.
The Dodgers have had so many things thrown their way. And you said something about just the organization, the chemistry, everything else.
Culture.
It is a complete opposite outlook a couple hours south down in San Diego.
All right, I'm going to put a pin in that. I want to come back to it because I think you bring up some good points. And the difference, never mind the talent, but the culture of the two places I think is incredibly stark. And just to put a button on what we were talking about with the Dodgers a second ago, they're in a position to do what they did a couple of years ago where they went and they got Scherzer and Turner at the trade deadline. They'd have to make a trade for different reasons, but they could do something very similar. Corbin Burns and Willie Adames in Milwaukee, both of those guys seem – Burns wants out. He's at odds with the Padres. He's a free agent at the end of the year. Sound familiar like Max Scherzer. You've got Willie Adames at short who's got one more year under team control after this year. The Brewers – probably don't want to have to pay either one of those guys. They're not going to get to pay Burns. The Dodgers could maybe get a little bit of a break on some of those guys. The Brewers are in first place, which makes it a little bit more complicated to get rid of a couple of their guys. but a similar trade to what they did with the Nats last year is out there if the Dodgers want to go do it.
Are you allowed to make trades 12 games over 500 before June 1st? Is that not in?
They kind of need to, don't they? They kind of need. I want to make sure that 8-game lead they have becomes an 18-game lead. That's really
might not have to wait long.
For. We'll talk about that culture coming up in just a little bit. But coming up next, it's Factor Cap. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. You got your eye on that new Silverado, don't you? And why wouldn't you? Unbelievable truck. And Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana, that's the place you got to go, right? An unbelievable inventory of new Silverados. If you're looking for that, there's no better place to be than Rotolo Chevrolet right off the 210 freeway, Sierra Avenue exit. Because what you're going to find is not only exactly the truck that you're looking for, but you're going to find it at the right price, and the customer service is going to blow you away. This is why they've been Dealer of the Year 13 years in a row. But think about it. Think about winning MVP 13 years in a row. That's what they've done at Rotolo Chevrolet. Number one in sales volume year after year after year after year. It's because people come back. It's because people tell their friends. So why do they do that? Because of that customer service. It starts right at the top with Mike Capozio, right on down the line. Whether it's Mike, whether it's Eddie, whether it's Michael, whether it's Frank, whether it's Armando, whether it's any of these guys. Owen is the one that I bought my car from. All of them are going to make sure that you feel like you're the most important person in the world. So if you're in the market, get yourself out to Rotolo Chevrolet in Fontana, or you can go online. It's all transparent. It's all up front. It's all right there at RotoloChevy.com. That's ROTOLO, RotoloChevy.com, and tell them that Travis sent you.
Come back and all that good stuff. But if you're the script writers of the NBA right now, do you really want a Miami versus Denver finals? Okay, that's one thing that we have in our advantage in the back pockets is the script writers of the NBA for the Lakers and the Celtics, or even the Lakers and Heat to get back together.
Do we know where Scott Foster's doing his next work? Have we gotten a read on that yet?
I have not seen the. I do know that he will officiate games in the Western Conference Finals or Eastern Conference Finals, but not really sure which game it is.
Yeah,
do you know?
The official script does not come out
right.
for another couple days, so they're still working on the script right now.
Exactly, they're seeing how this pans out today. All right, so I don't know if you guys saw this last night, but in the after the game interview with Jimmy Butler, they were showing a highlight in the background, and one of his shots went in. And someone zoomed in on the face of a referee in the background, and the referee in the background looked as if he looked like he was like, "Dang it!" as the ball went into the basket. He didn't say "dang it," but his eye roll, his body language looked as if, dang it was essentially the
like he lost a bet
method. All right, so
that would never happen.
That referee looked like his mom told him that there was food at home when he asked for McDonald's. Travis, Patrick Cap.
Fact, he did look like that. I want to go back to something you said though. You saw it as, I can't believe that went in, like almost like disappointment or resignation that, that's not what I wanted. When I first saw it, because I saw the story going around, you said, hey, you got to look at this video. I looked at it as he saw something amazing and went like, wow, I can't believe I just saw what I just saw. That while the referees are supposed to be impartial, and with Scott Foster aside, I guess that most of them are most of the time, I didn't read that as, I can't believe that something bad happened to me. It was more, I can't believe I saw what I just saw. So yes, that was the look, but I think for a different reason.
Al?
It's a fact. Those were some of the most disappointing moments, right? When you thought, hey, let's just go. I remember one day, I'm going to bring this up. We're going deep down into the soul. I remember one day for my birthday, I wanted to go to McDonald's, and we got a chance to go to McDonald's, but then I was going to go play in the balls,
the
right?
Ball pit.
The ball pit.
Sure.
And Mom's like, no, we got to get home. I'm like, Mom, what are you talking about? It's my birthday. If that's not the same feeling that referee had, I don't know what it is, because his reaction was the same reaction when I didn't get to go into the ball pit.
Al, Taylor?
Did you say you had to go home because there was a big surprise, like a big new bike?
No, it was like that was it. We did it.
Do his homework.
We birthday's over, brother.
Sorry, Slee. I'm Cap on this. Okay, I know that there are crooked refs in the NBA, but I think I'm kind of with Trav. I think that he was just a fan of the game first and foremost, because that's what, we forget that these guys love basketball. That's probably why they got into reffing in the first place.
Right.
Can I just go back to the ball pit real quick, Slee? That you guys will all experience this at some point or another. When your children go into the ball pit and they come out, you're going to want to basically hose them off with Purell. That the idea of putting that child out of the ball pit right back into your vehicle is a non-starter. Yep. So get a fire hose full of Purell and clean those kids up before you put them back in your car.
They will also be missing socks or hair ties.
Yeah.
Like they'll be missing anything that's not literally attached to their bodies.
Yuck.
All right, so the next installment of the Fast and Furious series comes out this weekend.
Can't wait.
All right, yeah, you have your tickets already, Al?
Yep,
exactly. You're going to be right in the front row where you like to sit when you watch movies in the theater. All right, so here's the situation. You would rather get in a car with someone in the Fast and Furious franchise when they're driving as fast as they are over all these things and flying through the air. You'd rather drive with them than get in a plane with someone from Top Gun. Alan, Patrick Cap.
Fact, I'd rather get in the
car.
Yeah, the car. I'll take the car. Anything that is touching the ground, I just feel a little bit more safe.
But these
right?
fly.
I still take my chances with that. I feel like in Top Gun, or I feel like some of those that I'm not accustomed to. With 0.0% am I accustomed to that. At least in a car, all right, there's a little bit more familiarity. Give me the car. No, thank you on the plane.
Trav?
The jet.
So I would assume that me flying in a Top Gun aircraft would at least increase my chances of going to the bar where Penny Benjamin is holding
Here we
court.
go. Always.
Of course.
Always an angle.
I would pick the Top Gun flight.
But there are also some pretty women in the Fast and Furious franchise.
There are, but Jennifer Connelly, I don't believe, is in that franchise. So
okay.
I would choose to go the other direction. Here's the other thing. 5 seconds after my jet takes off, leaves off the aircraft carrier, I pass out out of terror. It's just over.
G-forces.
Right? So I pass out immediately, and then the thing lands, and they shake me, and I wake back up, and I never even really had to deal with any of it. I would be awake the entire time because of everything that's going on in the car. So for those two reasons, I want the Top Gun flight.
Taylor?
Fact, yeah, I think Vin Diesel said it best.
I live my life a quarter mile at a time.
I'm going to go with Fast and Furious because I feel like they're never going to die. Give me a main character and I'm going to live, so I'll be fine. I'll be safe.
Right, exactly. So today is National Clean Dishes Day, all right? So dishes are your least favorite chore. Taylor, Patrick Cap.
Cap, I don't mind doing the dishes. If it's my own dishes, I don't mind doing that at all. Or, if somebody cooked for me, something like that, then I'll do the dishes for them. But I don't like doing it.
Right, Travis?
Like how it should be, how a good child should behave. doing the
You guys
dishes
are
for
really making me feel like a lousy dad all of a sudden.
Just, be more of a disciplinarian, Trav. That's what you need.
I don't have it in me.
Put the fist down. I think taking the garbage out for other people that don't do it is my least favorite.
Trav?
So today, this is risky. Susan's off today, so there's a chance she's listening to the show right now. So I got to be careful of how I put this. I don't mind doing the dishes at all. It's actually kind of zen, just kind of clean them, put them over there, dry them off, put them away. It's kind of a mindless activity that allows you to just think about other
And
things.
they're clean, too.
And they're clean. I really, truly don't mind doing it all that much. And the idea of cleaning a bathroom is the single worst thing that I can think of. So give me the dishes 100 times out of 100.
Alan?
Yeah, I'm cap on this one too. Dishes are one of the few things I don't mind doing.
Yeah.
Like I'm fine with doing it. I always somehow find a way to put an iPad in front of me and I'll do the dishes and I'm watching a game or something. Like, it's fine, no problem.
Cavs Magic? Hornets Hawks?
I don't think I saw those games specific, but you know what I'm talking about. Atlanta versus the Wizards on a Saturday. So dishes, not a problem for me. Actually, that's the one thing I don't mind. Trav, what you said about the bathroom or even, like, I'm neat. There's a difference between neat and clean. Clean is any dust, any of that stuff, like you're finding all. I don't do that. I'm more on the neat side. I don't like doing those stuff. Give me dishes all day long, no problem.
So when I used to work at Chick-fil-A, sometimes I would like to be put onto the dish duty because you get off the floor an hour and a half earlier than you would normally. So, like, I don't have to interact with customers. I don't have to interact with my fellow employees. I could just put on my headphones and just go at those dishes.
You're veering into Travis territory. I'm just giving you a heads up that you don't want to interact with the rest of humanity.
Right. But the only bad thing is, like, you'd have to, obviously you do all the clean regular dishes and then you do, like, the raw chicken dishes finally because of you don't want to have raw chicken water mixed with clean dish water. But the worst thing would be if one of your team members brought back a clean dish while you're in the midst of raw chicken, and then you have to drain everything, clean everything, and then refill everything to do the clean dishes, and I would hate that person if they brought it back to me that night.
Now, you know what? She doesn't want to be around her coworkers, Al.
All right, so the Premier League has introduced a mic'd up segment, or a mic'd up video YouTube thing where you can go look at it on your own time, where they have mic'd up VAR officials. So in the midst of when they're looking back on replay, you can hear why they're making this decision, why they're making that decision, and it's kind of an interesting thing to know about. So you would want to see what's going on in the replay truck of the NFL. Alan, Dr. Cap.
In a weird way, fact. Yeah, it's kind of interesting with a lot of the reason why I hate replays, the reason why I think a lot of people hate replays. Let me use the fourth quarter of the Lakers-Nuggets in Game 1.
Oh, my gosh, yeah.
Oh, my gosh, that game wouldn't end.
Yeah.
And it was also Lakers again to the foul line, but there's replays, there's just that. The reason why I don't like it, you don't like it, nobody likes it, is because there's nothing to do in between. It's not like we're behind the scenes and we get to see what's happening. It's not like, I know they show the replay, but the replay, God bless them, they're showing the same replay 40 times, and it takes 7 minutes to decide something that you can probably react to in 30 seconds. Anything to entertain me while that's going on, I'm in. So, yes, I'll take it.
Travis?
I'm going to say fact, but for a different reason. I think that if we had what you're describing, it would accelerate what I'm actually hoping happens, which is the abolition of replay altogether. That when you get into frame by frame, right? Well, you can see one sliver. No. One sliver of daylight here and this one micro frame of a shot. That's not what this is for. This was to fix massive errors. This was to fix Don Dankinger calling a guy out at first base that would have won a team the World Series. Instead, they called him safe, and the Royals come back to win the whole thing. It was supposed to fix that. It's supposed to fix that guy, I think is something Galarraga, Armando Galarraga, I think, who threw a perfect game for the Tigers. They blew a huge mistake on the last batter of the game. They called him safe. The no-hitter or perfect game went up in smoke. It's supposed to fix things like that, not to be a forensic scientist. And I see if we get into all of this and we see how stupid it all is, we'll eventually get to, this is pretty dumb. Let's just go back to calling the field stands, and sometimes bad calls happen.
Isn't it about getting it right, though?
But we're not getting it right. There are so many times where the ball was a catch or it was a fumble or whatever it is, but because of this very specific interpretation of the rule combined with this very specific frame of video that we have now because of all this high-speed HD stuff, it wasn't meant to fix that.
So
it was meant to fix giant errors.
Trav, on top of that, too, I know what you're saying, get it right. The problem is there's no flow to the game anymore. I'm going to use the fourth quarter as an example again. Here's a playoff game that's exciting, and we're stopping every 30 seconds, and any flow or electricity that you have completely goes away.
Every replay should be tennis or get rid of it. Is it in or is it out? We're going to use the computer, and we're done here.
But there's so much more nuance to things like NFL and NBA than there is to tennis.
Then let's move on from it.
Taylor?
Fact, I think it disrupts the momentum of the game. And I don't know. I think that ignorance is bliss, too, to a certain degree. I think that these networks kind of just, they dwell on a certain play and they replay it so many times. I think if we didn't even know, then we wouldn't care. But I don't know.
All right,
Is that it, Em?
So I want to go back to what you were talking about with the Pods and their culture or lack thereof relative to the Dodgers, because I'm not in full panic mode for your Padres yet, but you should be. That's coming up next. It's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
Okay, and then we got to make sure here, because now is the time. Banner number 18 is so close that you can taste it. Trav and I are getting you ready for game day with the assist from Pizza Hut. Caller number 18 right now is getting a $100 Pizza Hut gift card. That's a lot of damage that we could do, Trav, with $100 to get you ready for game day, your game day watch party. So however you're going to watch the game, make sure that you got Pizza Hut for the game. Caller right now, 877-710-ESPN. Again, it's caller number 18, 877-710-ESPN. Download the Pizza Hut app or order online at pizzahut.com to get your favorite pizza at a price you love. No one out-pizzas the Hut. We'll talk about the Padres and the Dodgers coming up next. Stay right here. Travis and Sliwa Show, 710 ESPN. All right, Harris Resort SoCal is located 2 hours away from downtown Los Angeles. It's in northern San Diego up by the Palomar Mountains. Really beautiful property. I'll throw this out there for listeners. If you're looking for a staycation, you're looking to get away it's just a couple hours away, but you feel like you're actually going on vacation, harrissocal.com. Go get your information at harrissocal.com. I've stayed at their resort tower room a number of different times. 50 table games, 1,500 slots. As the weather improves, California's award-winning trifecta of pools, voted one of 10 best resort pools in America by USA Today. They also got this open recently, California's first and the nation's largest Hell's Kitchen location. The menu approved, of course, by the Michelin star celebrity chef Gordon Ramsay himself. You could book your reservation at opentable.com. And last thing I'll mention here, if you're a big fan of beer, Rincon Reservation Road Brewery. It's the first tribally owned brewery in Southern California, located at Harris SoCal. harrissocal.com, harrissocal.com.
The home of
Thursday, Lakers Game Day Thursday. Thanks to our friends at Michelob Ultra. You know what goes great with Michelob Ultra? Pizza Hut. Our friends at Pizza Hut, of course, Banner 18 is so close you can taste it. And Travis and Sliwa are getting you ready for game day with the assist from Pizza Hut. Just wait for the fellas to tell you to call in and win. You could win a $100 Pizza Hut gift card to get you ready for your game day watch party. Download the Pizza Hut app or order online at pizzahut.com to get your favorite pizza at a price you love. No one out pizzas the Hut. So get some Pizza Hut for Lakers Nuggets game 2 tonight. Keep listening for your chance to win. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday continues now.
0 for 2, Slee. I didn't win the pizza again. Carlos Estrada was our second winner, so congratulations to you, Carlos. Enjoy your pizza. Send Al a slice and Taylor a whole pie and Emily and I a whole pie, and we'll all eat some pizza and watch the Lakers tonight. It's pretty exciting, Slee. D'Angelo Russell should probably guard somebody at some point tonight. That'd be a good start. Just like, I'm not saying you got to turn into Gary Payton, but can we just not be a turnstile? Is that too much to ask?
No, it's not too much to ask. And that's why we said when we started the show, hey, let's have more of a defensive type of team to start the game. Let's use that size that the Lakers have. I think Denver had the best offense in the NBA this year. Okay, sounds good. Throw some defense out there. I wouldn't be surprised if D'Lo does start, but I also wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't start.
Yeah, I would. I would be surprised that there was a very obvious problem at the beginning of that game. It was not. You did not have to be Hubie Brown to understand what was happening at the beginning of that game. And
I'm sorry, that's on coach too. The starting lineup was the wrong starting lineup.
You're right. That Darvin Ham put the wrong guys out there, but it was. You heard the Nuggets after the game where Brown was saying, "Look, we went right at D'Lo." Right, that he tries as best he can, but we went right at him. We made him try to side. He was the weakest link in that chain. Yes, they were the wrong guys. I'm not arguing that, but he was the one that they really targeted. He's the one that in his career has notoriously been a below-average defender. Mm-hmm. He's got to be better. That, like we've talked about, this is not the Lakers need to beat them by being better than they were offensively last game. The Lakers were like a 9.5 out of 10 offensively in game 1. They still lost. They need to fix the other half of that. I'm willing to give away a little O for a lot more D, and D'Lo is nothing but O and no D, so he seems like the easy one to move out of that. And by the way, if you fall behind and you need to knock down some threes, that's when you bring him in. If you get into a firefight and you got to knock down a bunch of buckets in a row, he's probably your best bet to knock down threes, and you go there, but I definitely wouldn't start him.
So D'Angelo started during the series against the Warriors, right? So he's in the starting lineup for that. Lakers had to go small. I think D'Lo was, first off, you could hide D'Lo a little bit better when you just use for me, the things that stood out more than anything else, you had Reeves trying to guard Michael Porter. Why are we doing that? Why are we having – why is –
He's giving up, 5 inches?
Well, here's the worst part. It's not like the Warriors had to play a certain way because they didn't have a choice. Mm-hmm. The Lakers actually – this is the luxury that they have. They could go small. They could go big. But let me say this. I don't want to make it sound like I'm defending D'Angelo Russell like he is Gary Payton. What I'm trying to tell you was I thought there were other issues other than D'Lo. But if D'Lo does not start tonight, I'm not doing the pregame saying, oh my gosh, this is the big. No, that's fine. I get it. Go defense to start the game, and then as the game goes up, you can make your adjustments as you go.
What are the other issues?
Just we talked about the 3-guard lineup, right? The 3-guard lineup of having 3 guys to start the game. You created this hole for yourself that I did not think was necessary. I thought they got a little bit too cute. I thought the idea and the concept of using the same lineup against the Warriors didn't make sense to me, and I don't think they're going to do that again.
I don't either, but this is why it's got to be D'Lo, because Reeves isn't coming off. Right, and so your choice is between, and you're going to go bigger in that other spot, whether it's Hachimura or whether it's Vanderbilt, you're going to go bigger there. So one of those 2 guys takes one of the other guard spots, which leaves one more guard spot, and D'Lo is the clear answer to me of the odd man out right here. Not that he's not going to play, he's going to get minutes, but I need Dennis Schroeder to do what he does, which is Dennis Schroeder competes on that end of the court a lot more than D'Angelo Russell does.
Just to give you an idea here. I don't think D'Lo would be the odd man out, I think it would just go back to their regular starting lineup. It would be Schroeder coming off the bench, right? That Schroeder's basically came off the bench for the Lakers for the most part all season long. So it's actually just going back to the lineup that you had against Memphis. It's going back to the lineup that you had, and that's if you want to use Vanderbilt.
Like, why him instead of Schroeder? Just to keep continuity? Is that the argument for that?
No, I think it's just another weapon. That's it. And I think there's part of it is also Dennis Schroeder's. He's going to end up playing 28, 30 minutes anyways. He's going to end up being in big situations. We've seen plenty of games where Schroeder closed out a game because D'Lo wasn't playing well. Like I think sometimes we make too big of a deal of the starting lineup, but ultimately your best fives are going to be on. I think actually the team that you're talking about with Rui and Dennis Schroeder, there's a really, really good chance that's who closes the game for the Lakers, right? So you're basically saying, hey, your best five, you put them to start the game. Whether they all start or not, I think there's a good chance that those five will be there to close the game.
I'm with you, Al. I don't think that the starting lineup is like that thing that it might have been in the past where, you're the starter and all these things. You think about the great Laker teams in Showtime, Mike Cooper never started, and he was never not on the court at the end of a game. That the closing group is much more important than the starting group. I'm with you.
Lamar Odom.
Let's be specific about this particular group. The reason they fell behind by 18 points in the first half, the reason that they were trying desperately to catch up was a defensive problem. So let's make sure that we don't build a hole again. And obviously going bigger with Hachimura Vanderbilt will help that a little bit. But I just think if we're prioritizing defense, let's prioritize defense. Let's not go halfway. Let's go full way and lean on LeBron, lean on AD, lean on Reeves to get some of these buckets. And by the way, Hachimura has been pretty good offensively too. It's not just that he's been good on Jokic, which he was.
He was 8 of 11 from the field.
He was a weapon offensively. I still think you have more than enough offense. That's why I just think D'Lo's got to be the odd guy out. Because the one thing he does well, you already got a pretty decent amount of that.
If he's the odd man out, I don't think there are going to be Laker fans lining up and saying, oh, we really screwed up for this starting lineup. So I don't think that would be the case.
So I was listening to a podcast the other day, and Michael Lombardi was on, a former NFL executive, and he was going on and on about how much he hates the Philadelphia 76ers culture. And as I'm listening to it, I'm thinking, this is the Padres. That you can't just buy a thing. And for different reasons, right? He was talking about how you developed a culture of losing where just the process was the thing and there was never an emphasis on winning. There was never an emphasis on doing things the right way, and it just kind of permeates the whole building. But he kept talking about culture, and it kept reminding me of the Padres. To just buy good players, sure, but Mookie fits the culture of the Dodgers. Freddie Freeman fits the culture of the Dodgers. Trey Turner came in and fit the culture of the Dodgers. That the guys that they do go out and get understand how they do things in Los Angeles, and the guys that come up through the chain understand how they do things in Los Angeles. The Padres, it's an incredibly impressive pickup team that's still trying to figure out who's in charge, how it works, how do we play, who's the leader of this thing. Culture matters, and the Padres are an incredibly good example of if it's bad, I don't care how good your players are.
Well, okay, let me ask you this. I think they had really unique chemistry last year where I felt like they got actually closer as the season gone on. And then when Tatis gets his suspension, he's out 80 games or whatever, and you knew he wasn't going to be a part of the mix, I almost felt like in a way that drew that team closer. And this is with Machado, and this is with Soto, and this is with Darvish and Cronenworth and Musgrove and everything else. My confusion with the Padres is this. You think Xander Bogaerts did not help the culture of the San Diego Padres?
No.
I don't either.
But he's also not a part of the culture. Whatever their culture is, he's an outsider. He came from somewhere else. Soto came from somewhere else. Machado came from somewhere else. Darvish has been in I don't know what it is, 4 or 5 different other major league teams that they're not kind of baptized, for lack of a better word, in the way that we do things here. There is no culture. Not that he's bad for it. It's that it doesn't exist.
So I know it's maybe not ideal, but can't you create culture as you go because there are new people and there are new pieces and you're trying to figure out, I hate to use the word, who's the alpha?
Who's in charge of creating the culture, right? Is it the manager? Is it the GM? Is it your best player? Who is the one? Well, we should continue to talk about this. This is good because the two differences are stark, and one team is thriving, and the other one is really struggling to find their footing. And they're a game out of last place in their division, which is
I know. I saw the
really,
Rockies
really
yesterday.
shocking.
I watched the whole thing. It was 11.
Well, the Rockies are in last, Lee, so you can take a little solace in that. All right, our snake draft of our favorite SNL characters. Coming up next, it's Travis Lee, 710 ESPN.
All right, what if a quarterback completed 4 out of 5 of his passes, or a point guard hit 4 out of 5 shots behind the arc? Well, now when you're hiring, you could play at that level, because 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter, they get a quality candidate within the first day. ZipRecruiter's matching technology identifies people with the right skills and experience and invites them to apply to your job. To try ZipRecruiter for free, my listeners can go to ZipRecruiter.com/Greeny. That's ZipRecruiter.com/Greeny. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Is your vehicle due for service? Head into your neighborhood.
AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
710 ESPN.
A Good Karma Brands radio station.
Here we go. Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
It's Travis Rogers, Alan Sliwa.
Day has the same person dropped off food at your house twice in one day. I don't
Great
know.
question.
Travis and Sliwa.
On 710 ESPN.
In honor of the Queen, Tina Fey's birthday, who also is an alumna of UVA.
I knew that.
And I've seen her speak, and she also spoke to my class one time. So big fan of Tina Fey. It's her birthday today. So we're going to, even though she wasn't a character person necessarily on SNL, she did write a lot of these characters. So we're going to do a snake draft of our favorite SNL characters. As a reminder, I did not rig this order, but here is the order.
Yeah, nobody believes you. Yeah.
Travis first, then Emily, then Taylor, then Alan again, and then back up and back down. Okay, we're all going to choose 3 picks total. So we're going to start with Travis. What's your first pick?
All right. I got a little bit of game theory going on here because the one that I want the most, I'm not going to pick right now because I don't think the rest of you guys will go there. So I'm going to take one that I think is a possibility that I really love, that he was only on for a relatively short period of time but had an amazing impact. I'm going to go with Matt Foley, motivational speaker from Chris Farley, where he lives in a van down by the river and smashes the table. I'm going Matt Foley, motivational speaker, number 1.
I live in a van down by the river.
Yes.
So my next one is kind of in my era of SNL, my early era of SNL, early 2000s. So I watched even as a kid. This one, even though Jimmy Fallon ruins the sketch, is
He
one
does
of the
not
funniest.
ruin the sketch.
Oh, yes, he does.
He ruins this specific one by far. But this one is one of the ones that all these actors are saying that they think this is the funniest sketch SNL's ever done. Debbie Downer. Debbie Downer from Rachel Dratch is by far my favorite.
She's great.
Taylor?
Okay, I've always been a big fan of the Celebrity Jeopardy from SNL. And I'm going to choose, rest in peace, Norm Macdonald as Burt Reynolds.
Okay, that's great. That's such a good pick.
Alan?
I'm depressed here. Okay, I got a couple that I'll do here. Don't be surprised on some of this, but we'll do what we can. Will Ferrell as the cowbell player.
Great
Need
choice.
more cowbell.
Great
I thought that's actually where you were going, Em. I thought you were going there when you said, what's his name, messed up the
he
skit.
ruined that one, too, 'cause he's laughing
the entire time.
Any sketch with Jimmy Fallon, it's been ruined.
All right, Will Ferrell as the cowbell player. That's my number one pick. My number two, oh, gosh, this is hard. All right, I'm going to do the Bears. I'm going to do the
Bears.
That's great.
Bill Swearskis, whatever, super fans, whatever that is. I'll do Bears as my second pick.
Great one.
Taylor?
Okay, next for me, mainly because I'm a fan of the movie, Wayne's World, I'm going to
Taylor.
choose Garth, though, from Wayne's World. I don't know if that's yours, Trav.
Well, I don't want two Wayne's Worlds on the list, so by taking one, I think you're going to get. I'm going to skip the other one. That's a great choice. I
Okay.
love that movie.
I'm honestly surprised this one made it so far on almost every
Don't
list.
be
It's
this
the number one overall.
Don't be this one.
Stefan's
Stefan. The hottest club is Ice or whatever. Like, I don't know the good ones, but it's hilarious. And the best part about the sketch too was that Bill Hader would break because he got these jokes written on the card by John Mulaney like right before he went on, and so he would be shocked too by some of the things that Stefan did.
Stefan was on my list. That's a great choice. So I get the last two. This is the one that I wanted first, but I didn't think anybody would take it. It's older. It goes back to the early 80s. It is my favorite SNL cast member of all time. It's Eddie Murphy, and it's him as Mr. Robinson, where they do
That's a great one.
where they do the spoof of Mr. Robinson's Neighborhood, where he's getting evicted from his apartment. It's amazing. I will take Eddie Murphy as Mr. Robinson right there. I've got a couple. So here's where it gets interesting. I don't want to have two of the same people. I want to take another Eddie Murphy one so badly.
Right.
And I'm going to do it anyway, just because it's great. I need him as James Brown in Celebrity Hot Tub.
Yes, that's great.
I don't want to have two of the same guy because there's so many awesome guys, but give me James Brown, Celebrity Hot Tub, because I just think it's the best one left on my list.
I have so many to choose from right now, and I have some that I don't know if I want to go older. There's a couple women that I love from the older generations that I could say this sketch specifically I love, but I'm going to go with my heart, my gut, and one of the ones that always made me laugh whenever he did it, and he would always do it in Weekend Update. Drunk Uncle from Bobby Moynihan is
Great.
a fantastic one because we know everybody knows this person at every function. So Drunk Uncle from Bobby Moynihan.
Good choice, Em. Taylor?
Okay, last one for me. I think my favorite SNL cast member of all time is Fred Armisen, and
He's great too.
I like him in The Californians a lot, but I'm not going to choose that one. I'm going to choose from I think it's like the Vincent Price Holiday Hour where he played Liberace. It's kind of a
That one's
deep
great.
pull, but I like him as Liberace.
Good job.
All right, last one.
I got two left that I like, but I think I narrowed it down here. I'm going to go. This one it was a reoccurring sketch, the Roxbury guys. It's Chris Kattan, Will Ferrell. They're doing their stupid go to the club, trying to get in. Exactly. Travis doing the dance as we speak. I just thought that was freaking hilarious. Yeah, it's that whole thing. So I was close. I was going to take Chris Farley when he does his Chippendales audition.
Great one.
Oh, yeah.
With Patrick Swayze, but I'm going to go with the Roxbury.
I was so close. This close to doing one. There's Molly Shannon's one where she is Sally O'Malley, where she goes, I'm 50 years old. I can kick and stretch. And then also Rosanna Dana. That one was very close to me picking it.
Great one. Unfrozen Caveman Lawyer would have been a great choice. That is an unbelievable sketch. And Taylor, I thought when you said Jeopardy that you were going to go Sean Connery. The Sean that they were both so. And by the way, Will Ferrell as Alex Trebek in that sketch,
unbelievable.
Yeah, they're all great.
There's three great choices in that one sketch. That's a good list. Who did we leave out? 877-710-ESPN. Let's go back to what we were talking about a second ago with the pods, Slee. The culture thing. Yes, you can develop it, but who's developing it? Right? Who's in charge? I know Bob Melvin's the manager, and he's been there, this is his second season there, and he's an old school guy. He's been around a long time, and he's going to set the tone right. But the culture usually comes from guys that have been around a long time, guys that have been successful players, and guys that came up through the organization. Pods don't have a ton of guys like that. Most of these guys started somewhere else. The one guy that kind of fits the bill is Tatis, and I know he came from somewhere else, but they got him as a minor leaguer and brought him through their system. Yep. But Tatis is probably the last guy that you want to create culture for all of the reasons, whether it's the ringworm or the motorcycle accident or whatever it is. And it has nothing to do with him, doing the stuff before third base and home runs. I love that stuff. It's just, dude missed half the season because he couldn't control himself.
The Padres right now, and I think Dodger fans, Chab, I'm assuming you're surprised at the situation too. They got an 8-game lead on the Padres, right? They have an 8-game lead on the Padres, and I think what makes this Padres are almost known for two things. I think so far this year, the stupidity of putting Kershaw on your jumbotron in May after winning one game against the Dodgers.
Do you know what their record is since they did that?
I think they've won 2 games.
2-9.
2-9. They also lost 5 in a row to the Dodgers after they did that. But that just goes back to the stupidity of saying, "Hey, we just beat the Dodgers. Let's be really cute right here. Look at us. Watch out." It was just dumb. Anyways, leave that alone. That's one thing that they're known for. The other thing that they're known for so far this year is Bob Melvin laying into them before the series, going back to Dodger Stadium, and then they got swept. That he already used his card of, all right, let me
wake him up.
Things are getting a little dicey here. Let's do this early. It's not early enough. At least I'm a month plus into the season, and we got the Dodgers coming up. Let me use this card right now. Do you know what happened after that? The Dodgers swept them, and they're sitting in. It is laughable, to be honest with you, but they're sitting in a situation where I think there's all these question marks. You got long-term contracts. You already went all in, and when you look at the Dodgers, they have flexibility. They have they have all their young players that are not just already on your roster, but they got young players that could potentially come up as the season progresses.
For sure.
It's a lot of chess versus checkers right now.
This is super corny, but I think it's true. They have a way. The Dodgers have a way of doing things, which is we're going to do it on a budget until we don't need to do it on a budget. We're going to have guys that understand very specific roles. We're going to give you a chance right up until we can't afford to give you a chance anymore. We're going to stick with you until
they have a freaking blueprint, man.
They just have culture. They have a way about them, and it goes back to the guys at the very top, the ownership and the front office culture. It's incredibly successful. It's a little bit cold-blooded in that they're going to let some guys go that they're just not going to make an emotional decision.
But it's not personal. It's just business.
Never personal, both for the good and the bad, right? Because the personal thing, for me, you heard me talk about this, I wanted Justin Turner to stay. They said, not at that price. We're not doing it. We don't care that you're one of the most popular players of the last 10 years in that era. We're not doing that. That's not good for us. We're going to let you. Justin Turner was the culture. Right? Clayton Kershaw is the culture. But the culture really starts at the very top, and you understand through the minor leagues, they're very specific about the type of – Mookie Betts is kind of a no-nonsense guy, goes out there, plays his ass off, is really good, but not a ton of drama that goes along with Mookie. Yep. Same exact thing with Freddie Freeman. They just have
Freeman's a wild card. You just don't know who.
Exactly,
you don't know that personality.
Yeah. I have a pretty good idea. I know exactly what Freddie Freeman had for lunch today, and I've never spoken to the guy in my life. Right? I probably a dry turkey sandwich,
and he 100% cut it. He 100% cut his sandwich
the same way.
No question about
glass of ice water, maybe lemonade.
Milk.
Right? Yeah,
iced tea.
Yeah, there's a very specific way that they go about these guys, and they know what they want. This isn't just Freddie Freeman. Who's the best player on the market this year? Is it Freddie? Okay, give him that. And then the next year, it's another guy, Javi Baez, who the Tigers went and got. Javi Baez would have never fit into the Dodger culture. They're just not going to do that. They have a very specific vision and expectation of what they want. The Padres just went, who's the best? He's okay. We'll take him, and we'll take him. We're going to pay him. We're going to pay him. Give me that guy. You can have all of the guys that came through our system. Here's what I haven't said, and I'm not going to say it yet, Al. They're not dead. They are absolutely not dead. They have so many good players. Eventually, those guys are going to start to play like the players they are. The question is whether they've dug themselves too deep of a hole. They're not dead, but they're driving near the cemetery. They're headed there. They have the directions on their phone, but it's not there yet.
Here's the question. They're not dead, but what changes it? And that's probably the thing that sticks to me the most is they I don't know what's going to spark them. You either have to want to play for one another. You want to either be connected in a way that, hey, we're doing this. I'm doing this for the guy in front of me. I'm doing this for the guy that's coming up behind me. Whatever it is, I just don't feel there's any of that connection. By the way,
you know how you usually get that spark, Al? Mm-hmm. Cut someone, demote, trade someone, send someone down to the minor leagues. It's like who's the leading option for that? Because it's got to be somebody that gets everybody's attention. I don't know if they have one of those guys.
YouTube has a lot of suggestions on our SNL.
So do the phone calls. We're going to do that next. Plus, Mike Malone, I think, told on himself a little bit. He's feeling the pressure a lot more than the team that actually lost the game. That's coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710.
Teams start with great talent, but finding the right people can be a challenge. It's like sports scouts researching top athletes across the country to find potential picks for pro teams. When it comes to hiring, ZipRecruiter can help you find the right candidates for your team, and they can help you find them fast. ZipRecruiter sends your job to over 100 top job sites, and ZipRecruiter is so effective that 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. To try ZipRecruiter for free, go to ZipRecruiter.com/Greeny. ZipRecruiter.com/Greeny. ZipRecruiter, the smartest way to hire.
Don't miss Super Playoff Crosstalk this afternoon at 2:30 p.m.
Sedano, Cappy, and Mace.
Today at 2:30 p.m. Must-listen radio leading up to Lakers playoff basketball.
On 710 ESPN.
Need high-quality windows and doors for your home? Marvin Dealers are your trusted partner from the beginning to the end of every project and can help you find the right Marvin windows and doors for your space. Make space for the little things, the big things, and things you never expected. Make space for connections and celebrations, for personality and possibilities. Make space for beauty, for better living, and a quality that endures. Make space for life. When you find a place for Marvin windows and doors in your home, you can make space for what matters. Marvin Dealers are here to help with your Marvin window and door project. They make it easy to find quality Marvin windows and doors that fit your needs. Visit replacementmadeeasy.com today to set up your free consultation. That's replacementmadeeasy.com.
If you're driven by an adventurous heart, you're in luck. The thoughtfully redesigned 2023 Subaru Outback shares your spirit. It will take you as far as you want to explore with standard symmetrical all-wheel drive. It'll get you off the beaten path with up to 9.5 inches of ground clearance. More than Honda CR-V or Toyota RAV4. The 2023 Subaru Outback. Go where love takes you. Contact your local Southern California area Subaru retailer for current offers and details. Comparison based on competitor information from manufacturer websites as of June 2022.
The Big New Yorker is back. 6 extra large slices, big enough to hold more cheese on a crispy, fluffy crust that you gotta fold just to eat. You don't have to fold it. Just a suggestion. Big New Yorker, only at PizzaHut.com.
Individuals and businesses with tax problems, listen carefully. Do you feel like you're losing control of your finances? If you owe over $10,000 in back taxes or have unfiled tax returns, we can help you take back control. The IRS is the largest and most aggressive collection agency in the world, and they can seize your bank accounts, garnish your paycheck, close your business, and file criminal charges. Take control of your tax problem now by calling the experts at U.S. Tax Shield and take advantage of the Fresh Start program and new laws that that may allow us to negotiate a settlement for the lowest amount possible. Our team of tax attorneys and enrolled agents can stop collections and get you protected so you can take control of your financial future. U.S. Tax Shield offers a price protection guaranteed quote to get you protected today. U.S. Tax Shield is A+ rated with the Better Business Bureau, so call now. 800-687-5192. That's 800-687-5192. U.S. Tax Shield. 800-687-5192.
Listen to Trav.
Banner 18 is so close you can taste it. And Travis and Sliwa are getting you ready for game day with the assist from Pizza Hut. Just wait for the fellas to tell you to call in and win. You could win a $100 Pizza Hut gift card to get you ready for your game day watch party. Download the Pizza Hut app or order online at pizzahut.com to get your favorite pizza at a price you love. No one out pizzas the Hut. So get some Pizza Hut for Lakers Nuggets game 2 tonight. Keep listening for your chance to win. Travis and Sliwa, your Thursday continues now.
So here's how you know it was a good snake draft. When Emily came in, she's like, we're thinking SNL characters. I'm like, yeah, that's great. We picked 12 people between the four of us. There's probably 120 more that we skipped over because there's just that many good ones. You said you got a bunch on YouTube, Al. We got a bunch on the phones as well. Let's go a little old school to start right here. Let's go to Torrance and Rick. Rick, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Rick?
Hey, guys. Thanks for taking my call. Trav, I thought for sure you were going to pull this one because you and I are the same age, but it's the
62?
one where, Belushi's he's working at, yeah, matter of fact. It's the one where Belushi's working in that greasy spoon, him and Aykroyd, and Buck Johnson walks in. And he says, yeah, I'd like to order, a Coke. He says, no Coke, Pepsi. Okay, well...
cheeseburger.
I'll just have burger and fries then. No fries, chips. Come on, you order now. He just kind of hard hands him. I thought that one was great. That was hilarious.
It was.
I'm a huge fan of the show.
Oh, thanks, Rick. Appreciate that. That Slee, do you know that one where Belushi's the short order cook? It's pretty terrific.
I got to see it. I got to go back and see it. I'm not sure if I know that one.
This is one that somebody of our 12 picks probably should have had. This is Valencia and Luis. Luis, you're on with Trav and Slee.
Hey, it's Luis.
Sorry, Luis.
Yeah, so this is a celebrity pick, or celebrity host, but I was really surprised that nobody got this one. It's Andy Samberg and Justin Timberlake, D in the Box. Like, I was so surprised. He's got some other good ones, like the Bring It On Down to Whateverville. I mean, anytime he hosts, it's usually pretty funny, but I was super surprised that I was kind of disappointed in Taylor. Taylor, the musician, he should have picked that one.
That's a good one. We're talking D in the Box, right? That's what we're getting at. That's the one I don't know.
Bring it on down to Biscuitville.
Is that on your list, Lee?
Yeah, that one I should have put on there, and I didn't. A couple people on YouTube. They got Ladies Man.
Tim Meadows, great.
Yep, you guys remember that skit. See what else they got here. Matic with Aykroyd. Do I know that one?
The Vegematic, the Tuna-matic, the thing where he just starts jamming everything into the blender. He's putting hammers and screwdrivers and everything else, and yeah, he's just it's terrific.
We also left off Tina Fey's probably only character. Her great character was Sarah Palin. As her impression of that.
Who was? Okay, Ireland and Emily, you're nearly on Ireland's level with this stuff. What was the name of the Marty Short character where he's constantly lying? Where he keeps getting caught as like an agent or a lawyer or something, where he's always getting caught, and he's like, "Well, I didn't say that at all." And he literally had just said it.
It's in my mind. I can't remember the name of it, but John will definitely know.
There's also the Marty Short where he's the synchronized swimmer, where he's like, "I'm not that strong of a swimmer." That's terrific. One more. Let's go to Long Beach and Danny. Danny, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Danny?
Hey, what's up, fellas? And lady. I'm so surprised nobody had picked Dana Carvey as the church lady. Classic.
So good.
Did that become a movie, or was it just an SNL skit?
I think it was. Maybe they tried to do a spinoff of a show. I do know that they tried to make it bigger than it was, but I think it was great.
That's a great choice, Danny. Thank you for that. Look, Carvey had church lady. He as George Bush, the first George Bush. He was really good at that. And wasn't he the other half of Hans and Franz? Where they tear him and Kevin Nealon, I think, were the bodybuilders, Slee, where they tear each other's arms off.
Yeah, we also got. I'm sorry.
To pump you up.
At the same time we're doing this, and you start thinking of things after. How about Will Ferrell? And they're doing the who is it? I think it's Sherry Oteri or
Sherry
Oteri. They're doing the Spartan cheerleader tryouts.
Terrific.
I mean, just you got so many of these. Like even if we picked
Ferrell
100 of them, we're not going to get. We're going to leave 100 out.
Him as Harry Carey, which apparently he did in his audition that got him
Yeah.
on SNL. That's an all-timer as well. All right, let's go back to the Lakers real quick, Slee. Michael Malone, not Mike, Michael Malone, the head coach of the Nuggets, had this to say yesterday talking about all the hype surrounding the Lakers, that the Lakers had figured some things out and that the momentum was actually on the Lakers side despite dropping the opening game.
There's this kind of discussion being based that, like, even though the Lakers lost, they're walking out of here last night like they think they've got something. I'll bet you every red penny I have that Darvin Ham would rather be up 1-0 than down 0-1. So for us to be able to watch film after a win and show all the things that we did poorly is a great situation to be in.
So there's that, Al, combined with him saying that, they think they found something with Rui on. They think the first time we've seen an adjustment like that, it was an oddly defensive posture for somebody who's up 1-0 in a series on their home court, the number one seed, that this was the kind of reaction I would expect from somebody who lost an opening game, not somebody who was up 1-0 in a series. He sounded very defensive to me, which I think is great news for the Lakers because we already saw how they responded to pressure at the end of Game 1. If they're feeling pressure before Game 2 even starts, that's great news for LA.
Well, let's be honest with each other here. They did get away with one. And listen, I'm gonna give Denver a lot of credit. They built that lead. Denver Joker was incredible for 3 quarters. A lot quieter in the fourth quarter. Jamal Murray had an unbelievable game. KCP, Bruce Brown, Michael Porter Jr., everybody contributed. The Denver Nuggets looked great in Game 1, except for the final 6 minutes of the game. And I think the fact that the Lakers made it a game, the vibe did change because of that. Now, they still are up 1-0, and I'm sure Michael Malone is saying the same thing that maybe he said in front of those cameras and everything else, the clip that we just played. I'm sure there was a similar conversation with his team. Hey, guys, look, I know that didn't go as planned. I know we got a little lucky that the clock ran out. I know we got lucky that Bron might have the decision for Bron to take a 3 and kind of go for the dagger rather than we're going to keep chipping away at this thing and put pressure on you guys with 45 seconds left. If there was 2 more minutes left to go, maybe the Lakers win that game. It's impossible for a coach that's been there for 8 years, who's the number 1 seed in the Western Conference, but also there's this disrespect that's come to the Denver Nuggets basically the entire season where people say, yeah, I know they're the number 1 pick, or I know they're the number 1 seed, but I'll take the Phoenix Suns. Yeah, I know they're the number 1 seed. I'll take the Warriors. Yeah, I know they're number 1 seed. I'll take the Lakers. That disrespect has continued all season long, and I guess the best way to set it up is the Lakers are not going to be the same team they were in Game 1. There is certainly pressure on the Denver Nuggets to hold serve in these first 2 games because I do think that if they go up 2-0, I think we said this when Sacramento Golden State. Sacramento had to win the first 2.
Yep.
And if they did, we have a real series.
Yep.
There's a little bit of that, I think, with the Denver Nuggets where it's important for them to hold serve here, and there is some pressure for Michael Malone.
I think there is some pressure, to be sure, as evidenced by his comments, but there's a lot more pressure on the Lakers, I think. It flipped. I think what we're talking about on Tuesday, for sure, much more on Denver for all of the things that you just said. But now that – because you're right, Slee, they did escape, right? We were talking about how the Lakers could maybe steal one. Well, the way you steal one is by the other guy letting one go, right? And it felt like it was headed in that direction. They got it to within 3. You mentioned LeBron's decision to pull the trigger on that long 3 early in the clock, which I think we all agree was not the right decision. But they escaped. It's not like they just went out there and had that 21-point lead. The game ends. They won the game by 16 or 17 points, and they were in complete control the whole night. They were this close to having that thing slip through their fingers, but it didn't, right? And I think that Laker fans, me, you, we kind of skip over the...
You point your finger at me.
Yeah, but they didn't. They won the game. I think they will be better under pressure the second time. It's the first time the Lakers have been in a situation where it's not fatal trouble, but they're in real trouble. They need to win tonight because 2-0 with only 5 games to go and a best of 7, That's a huge ask. And they're not playing the Sacramento Kings like the Warriors were, who fell behind 2-0. That was the Sacramento Kings. This is the number 1 seed, 2-time MVP, that those guys can score points. They can get stops when they have to have it. This is a very different animal. To beat them 4 out of 5 times is a huge ask.
Okay, so a couple things. You're not wrong. They are the number 1 seed, but they do still have a stigma. It's not the stigma of the Sacramento Kings because the Kings hadn't made the playoffs since 1987, I think was the last time that they were in the playoffs. But there's still a stigma that comes with the Nuggets of, yeah, but when the money's on the line, what are you going to do? When the pressure's there, what are you going to do? There is still the stigma that comes with the Denver Nuggets that they got to get over as well. And I like the position that the Lakers are in. I want to kind of explain here what I'm referring to. They haven't been in a spot like this yet in the playoffs. Let's do this when we come back, Trav. But they're in a position, in a situation that is different. Champions go on the road and they win games. They did it in Memphis. They did it against the Golden State Warriors. I think tonight's game will tell a lot about the Lakers as well. We could do that coming up next.
All right, we'll get into that right ahead. Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Hey, is your car due for service? If it is, head on into your neighborhood Valvoline Instant Oil Change, home of the 15-minute drive-through oil change. For over 30 years, Valvoline has provided quick and convenient automotive maintenance services for busy people just like you. And the best part about Valvoline, you don't have to go into that weird waiting room. You just sit in your car, nice and safe, while the expert technicians make sure that your ride is at its best. Oil changes, tire rotations, transmission care, and more. Just pull up, drive in, and drive out in about 15 minutes. And before you go on that road trip for Memorial Day, before you go see Grandma or go to the beach or go to the mountains or go see your friends and make that nice long road trip, make sure that your car is running at its absolute best. And there is one right around the corner from you. I can practically guarantee it. Visit SoCalOilChange.com for locations and game-winning coupons off of your next Valvoline Instant Oil Change. forgot, Al. Alec Baldwin is Pete Schweddy.
Oh, yeah.
when he goes on NPR to sell his special holiday balls, Pete Schweddy balls. So great. And by the way, was it Anna Gasteyer and Molly Shannon? I think are the other two people in that sketch. They're terrific also.
Yeah.
They taste really good when I put them in my mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
And that they're whispering it is great.
Also, one of my favorites from Kristen Wiig, the Target lady, when she's like, "I'm a gosh," and then or her Gilly, where she just like the theme song for Gilly is the
Gilly
best.
the one with the little hands?
No, that is Dunice. Dunice is also great. And it's like, and I'm Dunice, and then
that one's more weird than funny. But the one where she's twirling her hair and constantly one-upping, look. You know what else we. I'm sure there'll be another cast member or something. We have to do favorite guest hosts because that's a whole nother category.
Oh, yeah. It's a good category.
Could go into altogether. Let's try a quick phone call here. Let's go to Rob in Inglewood. Rob, you're on with Trav and Slee. What's up, Rob?
Hey, guys. What's up? I just want to say to us Laker fans, let's get real, all right? That first game, maybe the Lakers came back because Denver stopped playing as hard. And the other thing is, wasn't it just bad?
Bad what?
All right, so I know what he was trying to say because he told me on the line. He said it was bad to he wished that the Lakers had given up, thrown in the towel, lost by 20 points, and not given the Nuggets any material of the adjustments that they could make in Game 2.
Okay, so a couple things here. No, I don't think that the Denver Nuggets just gave up. I think the Denver Nuggets were trying to hold on. I really, really do. It's not one of those where, Trav, we've seen games where a team's up 25 and then they end up winning the game by 12, but there was still never a threat in that game. It got down to 3. Lakers were getting to the free throw line. Denver Nuggets were – Joker had a couple possessions in a row where he's just making bad turnovers. That was not we stopped playing. They were literally just trying to hold on. The other one, I'm not going to entertain it too much. You can feel free to entertain it if you want. But this is Game 1 of the Western Conference Finals. If you don't think that even in a loss, there are things that can set you up for Game 2, there's things that you can learn in Game 1 that you could use potentially for the rest of the series. If you say to yourself after Game 1, well, we're not going to show them anything in game for the rest of this game, how do you know if it works unless you try it? And I think that's what Darvin Ham was saying. I'm sure there was a point where Darvin Ham said, guys, I don't think we're winning Game 1, but I'm going to try some different things so I have a better feel for what I could potentially use in Game 2. And then all of a sudden it started working. The Denver Nuggets started choking. The Lakers started getting to the free throw line. And not only did you create some type of a blueprint, maybe you created a little bit of doubt in the Denver Nuggets. So I'm completely disagree on the notion of you shouldn't have shown them much in that fourth quarter.
I'm with you. I don't have a ton to add to that other than to say this is 7-game series is really short. You don't throw games away. And what was so interesting about that first game, we talked about it on Wednesday. This was a game that felt like the Lakers were behind by 30 3 or 4 different times. They never were, right? They were behind by 21 once, relatively briefly, but that lead was always somewhere between 13 to 16, go down to 10, back up to 14, down to 10, up to 11. That they were always within striking distance, and in the NBA, a 10-point lead is virtually a tie. It's just it happens so quick with the 3-point shot. A couple of guys miss on one end. You knock down a couple of threes. A 10-point lead's down to nothing like that. So until and I said this to you, Al, you kept waiting for, all right, can they just go up by 25 so they can do what Rob was suggesting? Like, okay, they're down 25, there's 9 minutes left in this game, or they're down 30 and there's 4 minutes left in the third quarter. That's when you say, we're just going to keep our powder dry and go for another day. It was never like that. There was never a moment in that game where it was out of reach. It felt like it was, but it never really was. I thought they played it perfectly, and I think that they did, to your point, crack the code a little bit. Now, they're going to change the code tonight. Denver's not going to do it exactly the same way that they did before. They do have a counter move to the Rui. Jokic, if it were as easy as just put a big, strong guy on Jokic, he wouldn't have been a 2-time MVP and a guy that is, right in the mix for best player in the world right now. He's going to do what he does. He's got counter moves. But I do like that the Lakers kept tinkering with it until they found something that was successful. You never, ever throw away a playoff game unless there's no chance to win, and there was never a point where the Lakers had no chance to win.
Okay, I want to tell you why I'm excited about tonight. There's a couple reasons why. And we started hitting on it. I think the fact that the Lakers have yet to be in this position is – I think there will be a little bit of not desperation, because I don't want to give it a negative connotation, but I think there's going to be a sense of urgency that we're going to see tonight from the Lakers. And two things happen in situations like this. Trav, championship quality teams, they look forward to playing after a loss.
Yeah.
They want that, let's get back on the court. Okay, hey, you guys got one. Cool. But you're going to see us again, and we'll have learned some stuff. We correct some of our mistakes. Championship teams also go on the road and they win games. The Lakers have already done it in Memphis. They've already done it against the Golden State Warriors, and this will be their second crack, their second opportunity to walk into Denver and tie this series at one apiece. I think we learn a lot from the Lakers tonight because, Trav, if Denver goes up 2-0, you know what the Nuggets are telling themselves? Guys, no, we are this is who we are.
They got it by the neck at that point.
We are the number one seed in the Western Conference. I don't care that it was LeBron and Anthony Davis back in 2020 in the ball. All that stuff doesn't mean anything. Look at where we are. We're 2 games away from getting to the NBA Finals, and we've never been to the NBA Finals. But if the Lakers tie this series up at one apiece, do you know what starts happening? Freaking A. It's the same guys. It's LeBron and Anthony Davis again. And for the Lakers, it's, guys, we've already won road games. I've been in this situation how many different times. Remember how John yesterday was talking so much about the environment, the atmosphere, how great it was? Mm-hmm. The Denver fans were out there. There's 20,000 people going crazy. You think that bothers LeBron James? It doesn't mean anything to him. And I
don't think it bothers him, but I do think that it might have an effect on others. He's immune to it, but the other guys wearing that uniform are not.
It could to an extent, but I think it helps when you have your leader is calm, cool, and collected.
It does help, but you can't tell me that just because LeBron is chill, that D'Angelo Russell and Austin Reeves, who have never been through something like this before, like it does help. It's like the stewardess on a bumpy flight, right?
Yeah.
You look at her or him, and you feel good. If they're just kind of smiling and they're still passing out Cokes and peanuts, it's probably pretty good.
If they're strapped in?
Yeah, if they're strapped in, you get ready. It's going to be a different thing. So LeBron is a good flight attendant in this analogy, but it doesn't mean when that plane drops 30 feet in half a second that you don't go, It's still pretty scary, and that's where those other guys are.
Well, when the baby falls and the parent reacts by, oh my gosh, the baby starts crying, and then when the parent's like, everything's cool, I will say that some of these players you're talking about that haven't been in this situation before, they've been good so far in these situations.
They really have.
And it's, you said Reeves. Reeves was hitting clutch 3 after
great.
clutch 3, and he was doing it, by the way, in the Memphis series. Rui looked like he's comfortable in the moment. You're not wrong that some of these guys haven't been in that position, but I think up to this point, I'm not walking away from these games saying the moment is too big for them.
You're 100% right. It hasn't been yet. That's the difference, that it hasn't been too big yet. This is uncharted. They've never gone into a game 2 in a playoff series with this group having lost the opening game.
Yeah.
This is a different thing. If you lose this game, now you have your backing that it's a different type of pressure each time. LeBron doesn't give a damn. I don't think AD really gives a damn. I don't think that he's affected that much by it. But the other guys, Darvin, I don't know. They really haven't been through it before. This is new for them.
All right, banner number 18 is so close you can actually taste it. Trav and I are getting you ready for game day with the assist from Pizza Hut. So this is how this works. Caller number 18 wins a $100 Pizza Hut gift card to get you ready for your game day watch party. So if you're getting ready for tonight, make sure you call in right now, 877-710-ESPN, 877-710-ESPN. By the way, you could download the Pizza Hut app or order online at pizzahut.com to get your favorite pizza at a price you love. No one out-pizzas the Hut. Call right now and get your $100 Pizza Hut gift card.
All right, the dump coming up next. It's Trav and Slee, 710 ESPN. Hope you never need it, but in the event that you do, you need to know what to do after an accident, right? And the answer is call Sweet James, 1-800-9-MILLION. Easy number to remember, 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-900-0000. Sweet James used to work for the insurance companies, and think about it. It's like insider information, right? You know how they operate. You know that they're not giving you what they actually can give you. That's why Sweet James needs to be on your team. That's why you need to call him after you've been hurt in a car accident, a truck accident, a motorcycle accident, a dog bite, whatever it may be. Call Sweet James, because you want a firm like Sweet James that has that experience, that has a winning record. How about over $1 billion collected in settlements? How's that for a winning record? Making sure you get the medical care that you need, and of course, that life-changing settlement. Do not take on the insurance company by yourself. Do what I've done. Do what my friends have done. Call Sweet James. 1-800-9-MILLION. That's 1-800-9-MILLION. 1-800-900-0000. And of course, sweetjames.com.
It's time for the dump.
Emily, I don't know if you choose to celebrate this publicly or observe privately, but today in 2001, one of your favorites, Shrek, came out. How do you celebrate?
Hey now, I'm an all-star. Get your game on. Go play. Shrek is a great movie for any age. As a kid, I loved it. As an adult, I love it.
Awesome movie.
I think it's Shrek 2. Fantastic. One of the best DVD extras was Far Far Away Idol, where you could play as exactly. This is great. But Shrek 3 and beyond, you can miss. But Shrek 1 and 2, fantastic.
Shrek the 2, okay. 1, phenomenal. Just a phenomenal.
I don't think I saw 3.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
You're okay.
Yeah, it's Shrek the third. But they perfected
Godfather 3 or Shrek 3.
You can skip them both.
They perfected
Neither one's
the
great.
DVD extras. They were so good at all these little things that like made this medium of watching a movie great.
All right, today is also International Museum Day. Best museum you've ever been to, Slee. Go.
All right, the USS Midway Museum in SD it's pretty cool, right?
Very
like
cool.
you're on
an aircraft carrier.
An aircraft carrier. So that one kind of say also San Diego Natural History Museum as well in SD. They got that whole area in that Balboa Park. It's just it's a cool place to be too as well.
M?
So one is actually right here in town, the Academy of Motion Picture Museum. So the Academy Museum just opened.
That's right by LACMA, right?
It's right by LACMA.
Yeah.
It opened about a year or two ago. I think it was delayed because of the pandemic. But if you're like me and you love movies, it's a must-see. They have all these like really cool exhibits that aren't just your run-of-the-mill like movie exhibits. They have a lot of costumes. Right now, I think the key exhibit is The Godfather. When I went,
Wow.
yeah, exactly. When I went, it was The Wizard of Oz, and so they had the ruby slippers. They had a bunch of like never before seen things. So if you're a movie buff, it's great. It also has a great gift shop.
Taylor?
I used to work over there in Wilshire, right by the LACMA, so I went there a lot, and I like that place. Also, the Peterson Automobiles. It's right there on Wilshire.
Is that there too? Yeah. Those car museums are always bonkers, where you see these incredibly, whether old or fancy or famous cars. I went to the Hermitage Museum, which is in St. Petersburg, Russia, when I was between my senior year in high school
You were there
and
a month
started
ago.
college. It looked fake, right? Like you're like, why did they paint these walls gold? It's like they're not painted gold, you moron. They're actually made of gold. The ceiling is not.
Idiot.
It looked fake. Everything. Never mind all the classic works of art that you've seen in all of these unbelievable books and everything else. It was like, wait, that's a gold wall? That's a real thing that exists? Just absolutely crazy.
All the Smithsonian's also great, too. Great. So I used to grow up going there a lot on field trips and everything, so they're great, too.
San Diego, Al, is getting an MLS team. Do you have a T-shirt, a hat? Do you have all the paraphernalia yet?
No, I don't have anything. I just I'm praying now. By the way, that's an awesome move for them. They're the 30th expansion team. They were fighting Vegas and Sacramento for a while, so the fact that San Diego got it, which is kind of crazy. Trav, I've kind of ran my mouth a little bit about Snapdragon Stadium.
Mm-hmm.
That's the way they got the MLS team. It's the fact that stadium already exists, kind of a good size for an MLS team.
Perfect size.
The only thing I don't want them to do, and I really hope this doesn't happen, I want them to just simplify this. Call it SD United or call it SDFC or something like that. Keep it simple. I just don't want them to get too cute. San Diego has a tendency of doing that, and then we look like idiots. So let's just hope that doesn't happen.
The Wave is a good one, the NWSL team. It's a good name.
Yeah, it is.
Well, it's location appropriate. You don't overthink it.
But just keep it simple.
The Hang 10.
Can I tell you something this is a good example for LAFC. How good LAFC should be like the blueprint of how you start a franchise in a sport that did not exist. The color scheme is great. The logo is great. LAFC is a great name, Los Angeles Football Club. I just love how they kept it simple and they made it so unique.
Manny Machado, a minority owner in that team, they begin playing in 2025, and that's a no-brainer. The MLS belongs in San Diego for 100 different reasons. That they finally got it up there is good news.
Wear sunscreen
for San Diego. Yeah, and can we put a canopy over some of the seats at Snapdragon?
It's a little over budget right now. It's a little over budget. We're working on it.
I'm not saying we got to build a dome, Slee. Can we just stretch some canvas over some of these seats so San Diego gets pretty hot? Just seems like maybe you cover some of those seats up.
You go to a restaurant, they put up the umbrella and they put it down. They're just going to have 8,000 small umbrellas around all the seats.
Fine, better than what they've got going right now. Doesn't make any sense at all. Today in 2004, Randy Johnson became the oldest pitcher to ever throw a perfect game at age 40, which is just bananas. But reason I bring that one up, Al. Did you see that yesterday Zach Gallen from the Diamondbacks hit a bird with a throw accidentally the same way that Randy Johnson did?
In the outfield, in practice.
He was warming up before the game, just kind of playing catch with one of his teammates, and he threw the ball. A bird darted right in front, and poof, it happened. It happened all over again to another Diamondback.
That is one of the – I'm not kidding when I say this, and I think you would agree. Of all sports moments – that is one of the weirdest ones that I remember the most, that of all pitchers, it's Randy freaking Johnson. It's not some pitcher known for – it's not a 5'11 guy that throws curveballs. It's Randy Johnson, and the timing of that damn bird.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
That it happened again. It's like just the birds. I know these birds need to fly a little higher. Let's stay out of the flight path of some baseballs along the way. Okay, Al, I know you're not a huge fast food guy, but have you seen those machines? They're in fast food places more often than other places where you can kind of mix your own Coke, where you can pick, like, you want a lemon Coke, a cherry Coke, a vanilla Coke, or whatever.
Strawberry Sprite.
Strawberry Sprite, for instance. Right. You can come up with you've seen those?
Yeah.
Okay. Heinz is introducing a machine at restaurants, think the same sort of idea, where you can create your own sauce concoctions similar to those soda machines. For instance, sauce bases include ketchup, ranch, Heinz 57 sauce, Heinz barbecue sauce, and then you can mix it in with flavor enhancers like jalapeno, smoky chipotle, buffalo, and mango.
Chipotle ranch is good.
Okay, let me give my thoughts on this real quick. This isn't a bad idea.
Really?
I don't mind this. Instead of, there's times, depending on how you feel, you grab barbecue sauce and hot sauce. And it's like, all right, I'm grabbing a couple different sauces. I'll do this, I'll do that. I'm not completely opposed to mixing and matching.
Together? I'm not saying you don't take a barbecue sauce and a buffalo sauce.
I'm not mixing ranch and something.
But buffalo, sure. Ranch, sure. Hot sauce, sure. But do we need to make some unholy concoction of all of these
Yes, I
things?
love it. This is America.
I like it too. I think this is great.
You guys,
So-
you will not have to wait for me in line. How about
Smoking
that?
Chipotle. I'm okay with this.
Sounds awful.
When I worked at Chick-fil-A, a lot of us would get creative and we would mix together some of the sauces. So we had this thing called salsa ranch, which is salsa and ranch combined that you would put onto like the Southwest salad that we had at the time. There's some other good ones. It's like if you do buffalo and ranch together again, that's a good mix. Branch, yeah, sure, or buffalo ranch. This is a great idea, Travis. I don't know if you just don't hate intervention.
I'm not. I'm trying not to, at least.
Innovation.
This just seems like a really disgusting. There's going to be some really horrible things that come out of those machines.
Listen, I'm not telling you that all the mixes are good. I'm just telling you, I think I could find a mix or two that will work for me.
Jalapeno ketchup?
Sure.
I mean, fine.
I tried that.
Fine. You guys,
a little spice with that.
I'll let you guys
ketchup.
be the guinea pigs on this one. Charles Barkley says that he once played an NBA game completely drunk because he thought he was getting traded to the Lakers, as a matter of fact, and went out and partied, and then he found out that the trade had fallen through, and he had to go out there and play under the influence. This, from anyone else, I think I would probably call cap. But with Barkley, this kind of tracks. I feel like this is something Barkley would do.
All right, let's ask this question. I mean, I think baseball was more the norm for this, but baseball back in like the 70s and 80s, Trav. Guys taking down some beers and then walking up and going at their at-bats.
Wade Boggs is the legend of Wade Boggs was on a flight from Boston to Seattle where he drank 9,000 beers, which seems unlikely. But, Taylor, I gave you the book Ball 4.
Wasn't there a pitcher that pitched a game on acid or something?
So Doc Ellis threw a perfect game, or maybe it was a no-hitter, but on acid because he thought the game was the next. He thought his turn in the rotation was the next day.
Gosh.
He was here in L.A. They were going to play the Padres the next day. He went out,
The Padres probably lost.
had a good time, and then found out he was pitching that day in San Diego, went down there and threw a no-hitter. So that has happened. And
David, I swear there's a David
he
Wells
was
story
hungover
too, right? Oh, he was
the
hungover.
day
That's
I
what
don't
it was.
forget if it was a perfect game or a no-hitter, but the day David Wells did that, the legend goes he was wickedly hungover. Yes, which I believe as well.
I believe
But
that.
but you're right. Like, so Ball 4, which I've talked about before, Mickey Mantle and Whitey Ford and Billy Martin and those guys would go nuts. They would go absolutely hog wild and then show up to play the next day. But that's hungover, not necessarily wasted. Doc Ellis is the closest, I think, to wasted that we've had.
Well, basketball also does not seem like
You're right
the
about
sport that you want to have. Let me get a Jack and Coke here before I warm up. That doesn't seem like that would work very well.
Look, we've all had that moment where you've maybe had a beer too many or whatever, and you're goofing around, you're having a good time with your buddies, and you do something good, like you take off on a sprint just to be funny or whatever, and you get about 10 steps before you feel like, yeah, this was a terrible idea. Imagine playing an NBA game like that.
Maybe you. I don't know. For me, pickleball and Michelob Ultra was an incredible combination.
Starbucks is going to be changing the ice that you have become familiar with, Al, to pellet ice. So think like Sonic. Sonic is the most famous pellet ice place I can think of. What do you make of that?
I don't think I like that. First off, all my coffees are I don't get iced coffees, so I'm not going to have to worry about it. But I don't think I feel like the nugget ice gets in the way. I think sometimes with a straw, you're basically sucking up 30% ice with everything that you're taking. I don't know if I'm a big fan of that.
It melts too
prefer the
fast.
ice.
It's good with water. It's good for sodas and all those things. But coffee in particular, those little pellets, they melt really, really quickly. And now I've got a water. Because you see how often I drink iced coffee. I drink it half the time.
Yeah.
I love iced coffee. Pellet iced coffee, hard pass. Don't do it, Starbucks. Don't do it. Don't do it. Little super crosstalk right now.
ESPN AM 710 Los Angeles. KRDC AM 1110 Pasadena, Los Angeles.
K256CX 99.1 FM Pasadena, Los Angeles.
It's the greatest segment in LA sports radio history.
Oh my God. When the shows come together for magic on the radio.
It will only grow stronger. Super Crosstalk.
Are we ready for Mason and Ireland to join Travis and Slee?
Super Crosstalk begins.
Super Crosstalk presented by In-N-Out Burger. In-N-Out. That's what a hamburger is all about.
It's time for Super Crosstalk.
All right, Mace is in the house. Ireland and Slee are in Denver, getting ready for Game 2 tonight. And John, you are the resident SNL expert, so I want to run this by you.
Okay.
Emily also, she's going to give you a run for her money, by the way. She's pretty good at this, too. She's got some deep knowledge.
Anybody who wants to write an SNL quiz from any era, any time, I will take Emily on.
Oh, we're going to do that. We'll do that next week. I will put together the quiz, and
Okay.
we'll do that next week for sure. So today is Tina Fey's birthday.
It's a snake draft.
It is a snake draft and Tina Fey's birthday.
Yes, happy birthday, Tina Fey.
So we decided to have our snake draft be our favorite SNL characters.
Yep.
Okay, not the cast members, but rather the characters that cast members and hosts have played.
Right.
You ready, Ireland? Tell me who won this one.
You got it.
Slee's list. Will Ferrell from the More Cowbell sketch.
Okay.
The Mike Ditka superfans, the Bears guys.
Okay.
And the Will Ferrell / I forget who the other guy was in Night at the Roxbury, where they're all coked out.
Chris
Kattan.
Chris Kattan.
Chris Kattan. So that's
a
Slee's
very
list.
strong list.
Okay.
I can't imagine anyone can beat that, but go ahead.
Taylor has Burt Reynolds from Celebrity Jeopardy, which is amazing. Garth from Wayne's World, and Liberace Fred Armisen.
Okay. I don't like that one.
Okay.
That's not a good list. Sorry, Taylor.
Here's Emily's. Debbie Downer.
It's a good one.
Which is, what's her name? Rachel Dratch.
Rachel Dratch, yeah.
Stefan, Bill Hader.
Stefan
amazing.
is an unbelievably funny character.
And Bobby Moynihan's drunk uncle.
That's a good one, Bobby Moynihan. Very funny.
All right, and then I'm last. It's Matt Foley, motivational speaker, Chris Farley.
Classic.
Mr. Robinson, Eddie Murphy from when they're invicted.
Game over. Game over. I think you win.
I double Eddie Murphy'd. I took James Brown from Celebrity Hot Tub.
Also great.
All right. Emily and Taylor are both out.
Yes.
It's a race between Trav and Slee. Will Ferrell's More Cowbell sketch is the greatest sketch in SNL history.
So damn funny.
The Bears is very strong. And the Night at the Roxbury, people still make fun of people if you go to nightclubs accusing him of being the Night at the Roxbury guy. I'm taking Slee only because you doubled up Trav and he didn't.
I know.
Yeah. You needed a third.
So, Emily, this is exactly what I said. I said the reason I'm going to lose this is because I took two Eddie Murphys, but I can't leave James Brown off.
But Matt Foley, motivational speaker.
Oh, it's great.
Unbelievable.
Eddie Murphy.
Yes.
Mr. Robinson. If you would have gone something like...
Here was my next choice.
Will Ferrell cheerleaders is a good one.
Not bad. I was going to do Phil Hartman on Frozen Caveman Lawyer.
Oh, that's also a really good one.
But I have to have James Brown.
Yeah.
It has to be there.
Had to be.
I'm surprised nobody took the church lady.
Yeah, church
lady.
lady.
I think that if Trav, if you would have taken the church lady with your third pick, then it may have swung me to you.
Billy Crystal, you look marvelous.
Oh, Lorenzo Lamas.
Fernando.
Trav, you know what this is? There's some similarities here. It's almost like playing three guards in game one.
It is. It's a lot like that.
You got too cute.
Yeah.
You just went with the big
I think
lineup.
Slee is the winner.
Slee's list is awesome.
I give Travis a slight edge despite doubling up on Eddie Murphy because Eddie Murphy is arguably the most transcendent cast member they've ever had.
Certainly
I got a fever, and the only thing that'll cure it is more cowbell.
That's Christopher Walken, though.
Yeah.
Will Ferrell's shirt is up above his belly button. It's just great.
Oh, it's fantastic.
And you had no Will Ferrell at all, right, Trav?
No, I had two Eddie Murphys
I'm
and a Chris Farley.
Yeah, Will Ferrell he's a top 5 all time.
And plus, Will Ferrell listens to the station.
I know he does. How about
he's-
him as Harry Carey? That would have been another one
That's
to
another
throw in
one.
there, too.
And if Will Ferrell's listening, my dog is named Ron after Ron Burgundy. Yes.
Well, the other thing is, I think Taylor might have been the only person to take the most successful sketch, the biggest moneymaker sketch of all time is Wayne's World.
Yeah.
Yes.
And only one of you guys took one of the Wayne's
But
World.
he took Garth and not Wayne.
Yeah. He's a Dana
It's an
Carvey
interesting.
fan.
What's wrong with that? I don't know.
I don't know. Wayne and Garth.
I can't pick them both.
Yeah, true.
He went with the supporting character.
Yeah, the supporting character
not
instead of the lead.
You're going to spew into this.
I think Taylor's choice of Burt Reynolds puts him in the mix just because
Although,
that character
can I
was
say
next level.
Funnier Jeopardy character,
Connery?
Sean Connery.
Daryl Hammond is Connery.
Sean Connery is fantastic.
So this is the only sketch we were talking about that we thought you could pull 3 people out of one sketch.
Yeah.
Reynolds, Connery. You could take Will Ferrell's Trebek in that schedule. He was amazing in that, too.
Hey, Mace, I'm going to – I was mentioning yesterday I was going to go to the Rockies-Reds game. Incredible game, by the way. Just
was it incredible?
A lot of people were interested in the Rockies-Reds yesterday.
I bet.
Go on Twitter.
to get in, right?
4.
Yeah, it was 4. 4, and I didn't have to pay any of the fees because Emily and Trav were like, why are you going to buy it on Ticketmaster? You're going to end up spending $20.
Just walk up, buy it at the window?
Yeah.
Yeah, buy it at the window.
Smart.
Go on Twitter for a quick second.
Okay.
And, John, go on Twitter, too. Just go to my page. I want you guys to just see the picture that I posted.
Okay.
They said there's 22,000 people at this game, and there's a great chance that there was probably 6,000, 7,000. It wasn't 22,000, however they get to that number. I basically just find a seat where there's nobody.
Oh, wow.
I grab a hot dog.
Yep.
I grab a beer, and I grab some peanuts.
Wow.
And I don't get there till the end of the 5th. So I probably sit down. It's the 6th inning when
What time
I actually
did this
take a
game
seat.
start, Slee?
So it was around this time. Yeah, 1 o'clock.
So afternoon game.
Exactly. Afternoon. 1:10, I think, was first pitch.
So matinee game,
Yep.
getaway day, all
Reds.
that stuff. Reds.
Reds. So I sit down. I enjoy my hot dog. I'm enjoying a nice blue moon. I'm kicking back. You can see the seats. There's nobody around me.
Yes. No, you've got a perfect view.
I found the seat where there's nobody.
Yeah. Just
Usher-
you by yourself.
Yeah, just be by myself.
See, the picture I really want is from the other direction with Sliwa just sitting with nobody around
A little
him.
island of
Just-
nothingness.
Just Slee in the middle of nothing.
Mace, nobody to my left, nobody to my right, and nobody really behind me as well, okay?
Yep.
Usher comes by
Mm-hmm.
and says, excuse me, sir, is this your seat? Do you have tickets? Listen, he says, do you have a ticket to this seat? And I kind of looked at him, and I'm like, I think he's kidding, right? Like, he's not really telling me to move or to get up or something like that. I go, no, it's not my actual seat. And he goes, I'm going to have to ask you to leave.
No! Leave the stadium?
Unbelievable.
Not leave the stadium, but go to where
to your
my seat is.
Go to your seat. That is
Right?
just a joke.
There is not a soul around me, and I'm like, listen, it's the first time I've been to the stadium. I just got here. It's the 6th inning. There's nobody here. Do you really want me to go to a different seat? And then he pauses and he goes, well, I'll let you sit here this time, but not next
Right,
time. And then
right.
he leaves.
Good for you for sticking to your guns.
Yeah, I'm a
Because-
big fan of the move-ups. Like,
What am I missing
What's
here?
the downside? Who's hurt by that? Nothing. Nobody.
Yeah, no. I don't get it. I
it's
think
a power trip by the usher.
when the seats are open, I think you should be able to move a little bit closer. We always have move-up time. Like, you get to, Dodger Stadium is a little later, but you get to the 6th inning, it's move-up time. You can move a little bit to get closer to the game.
Look, I get it.
Playoff game
If
here.
it's the NLCS and you're playing the Atlanta Braves
And it's packed.
and it's full and you tried to sneak into a seat, sure, it's a Reds-Rockies businessman special.
Right.
There's 200 people in the ballpark. What the hell is this guy doing?
You know the worst part is he didn't go tell anybody else. No, at least I didn't see him go tell anybody else.
Right.
Granted, there's 80 seats around me before you get to the next person. But he picked me out of everybody,
Yeah.
and then I had to stand my
Yeah,
ground.
made you an example.
Yeah.
So what about the big fancy dinner last
Yeah.
night? That's what I want to hear about. Big fancy dinner. Slee got to go. What's up?
John, just to kind of set this thing up, did you know that back room existed?
No, but I knew Michael would know because he eats dinner in that restaurant all the time. So I think Michael knew, and then when he knew we had a
Private room.
Mace, to paint a picture,
Yeah.
beautiful place.
Yep.
Get there, and Sedano's already there. He's at the bar just watching the Heat and the Celtics.
Okay.
And then everybody kind of starts trickling in, Trudell, John, and they say, all right, let's go find Michael. And we walk through the restaurant, and then through the restaurant there is a back room that has a window to the kitchen, and you're watching everybody prepare the food. But it is a
Cool.
isolated room, and there's only one person in that room. It's Michael Thompson.
It's is that right? So it's Michael's room.
How baller, John, did Michael look just sitting in this room by himself? So we get there, we sit down. It's John, Michael, Dave McMenamin, BT, Brad Turner, Sedano, and Trudell.
What an elite group.
We solved all the problems of
I'm
the
sure.
NBA in one
I'm sure.
2-hour dinner.
Just the end. I thought I would have said the universe. You guys got it all sorted out.
Masters of the Universe dinner.
We dabbled into politics, which is always dangerous.
Didn't go well.
Oh, that is not good.
That didn't go well.
When
I
you
know
have
how that
Trudell
breaks.
on the way left and Michael on the way right. So
Yes.
it's like
I'd steer clear of politics.
Hey, John,
Not a
literally
winning
where we
combination.
were sitting to, Trudell was on the way left.
Yeah.
And-
Oh, he was
we
right
put
left
those
to
guys
Michael
on
was right.
the way
They're
right.
They're on the right
Possible.
side of the aisle.
Yeah, we solved. What else did we solve, Slee? We solved gun control.
Gun
we solved
control.
the Laker offense tonight.
Yeah.
Every available coaching vacancy has been determined.
This
Yeah, you guys,
this
that's
feels
true.
like the talk show that Charles Barkley's going to do with Gail King.
It does.
Yeah, it actually was that. Yeah, because we had no actual agenda. We just tackled every problem known to man.
It's a little bit like that Jada Pinkett Smith thing, right? It's
Red
like
table talk.
Michael's table. It's like Michael's big table.
So Slee was saying that Michael insisted that everybody get an order of crab bisque soup.
He did.
Was that like one of Michael's moves where he orders something for everybody at the table, or was this a new move for him?
No. He did. He made sure everybody got that. He made sure everybody got the bread. He made sure everybody got dessert. He was like the host. He paid
was
for the
very
whole thing.
excited.
He was awesome.
I love a nice crab bisque.
Who doesn't?
Oh,
You could tell he was very, very excited to host. And when he's got something in his mind, he thinks the crab soup is special. All right, let's get 7 crab soups for the table, and whether somebody wanted one or not, which, by the way, the crab soup was amazing.
Yeah.
He was excited to play some host.
what was your main?
I did the ribeye.
Good choice.
Nice.
Did
Ireland-
Slee fit in? I know that he was
of
added.
course.
Okay, if
Did he?
it worked out, I was
No, it was great.
He was a late add-on.
And then we met our the Lakers traveling Chef Rocco was there. We met her on the way out, and it was
Now,
fun.
when you say traveling chef, what does she actually do?
She comes in a day before we get here.
Yeah.
And she buys all the food that we're going to eat and then prepares it along with the kitchen staff. And so we have, if like last night we didn't eat the team dinner because we went to the restaurant. But if you want to, it's an option to eat breakfast, lunch, and dinner in the meal room. And she provides all the food in the meal room.
Does this track back to the, I don't know if this is true or whether this is apocryphal or not, but the whole Kobe got a bad cheeseburger in Sacramento one night?
Not as much as that, Trav. It's more that they don't want these guys going to McDonald's.
Okay.
Right.
They want it.
So it's like all organic and
right.
Yeah.
A lot of vegetables, no sugar. A lot of really well prepared,
grown,
really
all that
good
Farm to
stuff that I
table,
read.
right there
Farm
in
to
Denver.
table, there
Right?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah, and she's awesome, and so the food has been great throughout the whole place. She's been with us on every trip. She was in Memphis, she was in San Francisco, and
Now, is
she's
she
here.
a regular season person or just a playoff person?
I think she came on late. They did have some people preparing food during the regular season, but they brought her in for the playoffs. She didn't travel with us during the regular season.
John, is that story about Kobe and the food poisoning, is that true or is that just urban legend?
He says it's true. And as a result of that, now, after that, when Kobe ordered food, one of the security guys would order it for him and then take it to his room.
Would somebody taste it first?
Like
Did he have a taster?
The royal taster.
The royal taster.
I don't know the answer to that. That's a
Here,
good
take
you
a bite
have
of this
to
bird.
wait 10 minutes.
Wait 10
Let's
minutes.
see if
See if- like
we
canary
good?
in the coal mine. Are you all
Okay.
right?
All right, so somebody just texted me. Nobody, if we're going back to your SNL snake draft.
Yeah.
Sweaty balls.
We talked about Pete Schweddy,
that's a
too.
really good one.
Pete
Yeah.
Schweddy would have been a great choice.
Yeah, Pete Schweddy was good.
That was Alec Baldwin.
Alec
right?
Baldwin, by the way, also as ABC, always be cobbling, always be
Oh, yeah,
cobbling.
as the
The
elf.
oh, God. Glenn Ross
He
elf
is,
speech.
for a non-cast member, he might have had the best impact as a because his hosting is off the charts.
Yep.
He just shows up randomly. He's in great sketches. He might be the best, most powerful host.
Non-cast member.
member.
Yeah, I think you're right. I
Ireland,
think you're
yes,
right.
no?
Well, he's a 5-timer. Hanks is a 5-timer.
Steve Martin's a 5-timer.
Martin Short.
Martin Short is so
I
funny.
think Timberlake just got in there as a 5-timer. So there have been a few that have hosted, multiple
This
times.
is going to bother me. What was the name of Martin Short's character that was the liar that comes smoking the cigarettes? He's sitting on the other side of the desk, and he just constantly contradicting himself. I never said that. I never said that. What was that character's name, John?
I know who
Did he
you're
have the
talking about.
cigarette?
Yes.
The ash kept getting longer and longer. Wasn't he? He was on 60 Minutes.
Yes,
It was like
he was the subject of a 60 Minutes investigation.
And they were
Nathan
totally grilling
Thurm.
him.
I just looked it up.
What is it?
Nathan Thurm.
That's very funny.
I would have never
the
pulled
length
the name.
of the ash on the cigarette by
he's
the end of that
sweating
thing.
and he's freaking
Oh,
out.
so
Everything
good.
about it's awesome. All right, Lakers, take care of your business tonight. Super Crosstalks powered by In-N-Out Burger.